Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, the 3rd day of April 2013. I am your host, Alex Jones, and we are going to be live here for the next 3 hours, Lord willing. We have one of the veterans with no criminal record, honorably discharged with no mental records, who was kidnapped by the government, kept in a facility for 2 days while his guns were taken, and charged for being put in the hospital out of the clear blue sky. This is happening to veterans all over the United States, and they're getting these wellness check orders that, hey, you got to come in and get a mental checkup and prepare to turn your guns in if we find that you have a mental problem. And in a lot of the wellness checks, they're not even telling them that. You just show up and they say, are you ever down? Yeah, my son was in a car wreck. Oh, you're down. Your guns are gone. Yeah, I got a divorce. You know, my wife left me. I've been pretty down. Your guns are gone. You have to know when you go to any pediatrician, any doctor, a lot of them aren't globalists, aren't authoritarians, so they're not spying on you. I mean, a regular doctor knows if you come in and say, I'm going to kill myself, you know, to call the police. You don't need to have Homeland Security and the VA there putting their operatives in everywhere to get your guns. So serious veterans alert with a victim of this. David Schmecker coming up in the second hour for 30 minutes. And then I've got something that's a little bit fun, but it's also painful. And I don't normally cover goofy things unless it educates people. And I heard last week, hey, Alex, cover the Reptoid Secret Service agent. And I didn't even go look it up. I'm like, no, I have serious things to do. I was just talking to a senior Secret Service person the other day. Oh, it was amazing. Anyway, side issue. And so people kept sending me the video, so I happened to watch it yesterday afternoon. We're going to be playing it coming up. And I went, I've seen that guy before. The one they're saying is a reptoid. He says extremely male features. I go, I've seen that guy before. That's a Secret Service agent that's spoken out. And ladies and gentlemen, I snapped my fingers for about 20 minutes doing a search on YouTube. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I found him, and we've got his name. And he is a guy that quit and spoke out for the Second Amendment. And it's probably a psyop against him or something. The point is that then Glenn Beck gets in on the game. And I'm trying to not attack Glenn Beck, okay? Even though he's done dirty tricks to me behind the scenes and stuff. Obviously sees me as competition. Man, I wish there were 50 Glenn Becks that were actually fighting the New World Order. I mean, I get other talk show hosts on, like Michael Savage and George Norrie, to promote them because they'll talk about real issues. I don't sit here attacking Rush Limbaugh. I don't sit here attacking Bill O'Reilly and people. It's just not what I do. But every time, there's my mouse, every time I watch something he's doing, I mean, I could see the scripting there.
You know, Alex Jones, you piece of garbage. I don't know what your deal is. I really don't know, and I don't care.
You don't know what my deal is, you jackass? When you have been trying to hold me down for at least 6 years? I mean, I've talked to your confidants, famous people. Every time you get around some famous person, you start running me down and saying people shouldn't come on my show. And you blocked me from going on Fox as a guest one time when I was there for that. You jerk. But that's not the issue. He goes, oh, they believe in reptoids and the Bilderberg Group and the Illuminati and the New World Order. I mean, he's basically the ADL. That's why they've given him so much attention as the opposition. I mean, you know, you're probably like a Hal Turner. You probably got a high-level national security clearance, buddy.
You prepare by purchasing gold, food, and firearms. But if you don't have a home security system, then you're missing a critical weapon in your arsenal for home protection. When you're sleeping or away from home, who's watching out for intruders? Check out SimpliSafe. It's a new do-it-yourself home security system that is completely wireless. Go to GetSimpliSafe.com. SimpliSafe is independent and off the grid. It runs on battery power, so even if the grid goes down, you're protected. It's completely customizable, so you can use it in your home, business, boat, trailer, storage unit, or shed. GetSimpliSafe.com. SimpliSafe is also ridiculously easy to install yourself in under 20 minutes, so there's no need to let a stranger into your home. If you move or need to relocate, you can take the system with you wherever you go. You aren't always at home, but SimpliSafe will stand guard, protecting your property 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Again, that's GetSimpliSafe.com.
I had tried everything. I'd cut back the amount of food I was eating. I was lifting weights and jogging, but nothing was working. My body was literally starving for minerals and trace elements as well as key vitamins. And as soon as I had that, I immediately could eat half of what I was eating previously and be satisfied. Now, there are hundreds of great products at InfoWarsTeam.com, but I want to point out the 3 that have helped me lose 37 pounds in just 2 months. Products like Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Pollen Burst, and Rebound. When I started taking the Tangy Tangerine and other products every day, I lost more than 37 pounds in just 2 months. Now that's results. I want to challenge my listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com and to order just 3 of their products, and you will see the changes in the way you look, feel, and in your appetite almost immediately. Start your journey to health and wellness today. InfoWarsTeam.com.
Now that we have moved into the winter season, there is an increased need to support our immunity and health. At Silver Lungs, we are committed to meeting your needs by providing a full selection of silver-based products. Our most popular silver-based products are the 32-ounce Nano Silver Solutions, our 2-ounce Nano Silver Nasal Applicators, as well as our all-natural silver soaps. Just released is our 100% natural silver gel. Our new silver gel is not based on synthetic gelling agents, which quickly evaporate and leave the silver at the surface. But rather, we have formulated our silver gel using the natural skin-nourishing chemistry of aloe vera to quickly penetrate and nourish the skin, while delivering the silver more effectively. Visit www.silverlungs.com and click on our store page to find what silver-based products are best for you. That's www.silverlungs.com.
I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. Thomas Jefferson.
We are kicking off this worldwide transmission. Thank you so much for joining us on this April 3rd, 2013 global broadcast. I am your host, Alex Jones. David Schmecker, a honorably discharged businessman with no criminal record and no psychiatric record, was kidnapped by the government and his guns taken after a psychiatric evaluation. Every veteran in the U.S. is getting 2 different letters. They're getting one or the other, or both in some cases. And we've opened the phones up. You've heard the callers call in, the veterans. They've all gotten the letters. Every veteran I know has gotten the letter. Jakari Jackson's dad, who's a military veteran, has gotten the letter. And they are telling him, come in for your well check, and you're going to get a psychological evaluation. And if you say that you've been down in any way, your guns are gone. And in fact, some people don't even say that, and they're taking your guns. So incredible Nazi-like, Soviet-like, authoritarian-like purge of the veterans, because the globalists absolutely hate your guts because they know you're patriotic. Even though you've been misguided in some of these wars and things, no one can doubt your patriotism and the fact that you're men and women and that you're willing to fight. And the criminals are scared of that. And in every authoritarian takeover, there is a purge. There is a purge of the last generation of veterans and police. It always happens. Fascist, socialist, communist, in kleptocracies like Mexico. This is what goes on. And we're going to be breaking that down here today. Now, let's go ahead and let me just give you some of the headlines, some of the stacks here we're going to be covering here on the broadcast today. Poll, almost 1/3 of Americans believe in New World Order. And that's out of the pro-Obama outfit, the Public Policy Polling, a group that actually refused to even let us survey a poll with them that we were going to do as a test. And the questions, we'll go over some of later, are completely sniveling and designed to make you answer no. But it says that around 1/3 believe in a world government conspiracy and a new world order. Folks, I have every world leader out there basically calling for a world government and saying that's a new world order. I have Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan bragging that they have established that. And so really out on the street, it's more like 80% of people I talk to know about the global government now. I mean, you know that. Even if somebody isn't awake, they know that global corporations are running the show and globalism, and they've heard the call for global government. When I say 80%, around 50% know what's going on from my own on-the-street surveys and think it's bad. The other 30% or so of the 80% to 90%, they say, of course world government's coming. Collectivism is a good thing, and the natural system is to have a world government. And then I argue with them about the fact, okay, so we go from agrarian to city-states to nations to empires to global government. This is an unelected, unaccountable global bureaucracy run by 6 megabanks that control the issuance of currency and credit. We don't need to go there. This is a really bad situation. Nations are like firewalls or bulkheads in a ship so that fire or water can't flood the whole thing if there's a breach. And without an exception, they usually say, oh, don't try to show off with big words, fancy pants. You're just mad the Republicans lost. And I go, listen, both major parties in every country that are controlled by globalists are controlled, and that's how they control us. I want liberty. Collectivism brings nightmare societies where even if you get nice collectivists in at first, bad guys then take over, and it creates a living hell. That's the cycle. You can have a philosopher king that redistributes, and sometimes you have a golden age for a few decades. I'll be honest, that has happened. But it always degenerates into hell on earth shortly after, because criminals get the idea they can get control, and they do take over. And the paramilitary force that the egalitarian uses to dominate and bring in their system, you know, to break a few eggs to make the omelet, people are always penalized and enslaved to build this so-called utopia. The enforcers then take over. That's why third world countries can never get their act together, even though they have incredible resources and interesting cultures. And they literally smile at you and say, oh, you're mad, we're taking over, you lost, because they really associate their personal power with the power structure. And I'm going to shoot a special report after the show tonight, where we're going to show clips of the globalists calling for world government, calling for, I mean, there's hundreds of these, describing corporate tyranny, the Davos, Switzerland group calling for it, Bilderberg internal minutes that we've gotten out of the National Archives from our boffins, all of this, and I'm going to show the media saying it doesn't exist, and then show the media saying world government run by private banks is what's happening, but it's a good thing. And we've played these clips before, but I want to do an actual report with, like, I don't know, we'll be conservative, maybe 15 clips of calling for New World Order, global government. Calling for world government and defining world order as a world government. Global governance, and admitting the banking crisis of 2008 is to usher in the world government implosion of all nation states with a new global XM bank based out of the euro with the IMF, World Bank, and private Federal Reserve. I mean, it's all in policy reports. Dave, I mean, we're going to show you. I mean, Paul Watson's article breaks a bunch of this down, where bankers declare that they have conquered the United States and Europe. We're going to be basically showing those clips that are in that article in this piece I'm going to put together this afternoon with Rob Dew and Darren McBreen. And then we're going to premiere it on the Nightly News tonight, or they may stay up late doing it. Either way, we're going to air it on the radio tomorrow. Here on the radio, Mike Adams is coming in with a bunch of breaking news and real ways to fight back against the tyrants. And then he will play the 10-minute reporter. So we'll try to keep it down to about 10 minutes here on the broadcast tomorrow. So it may premiere tonight, but regardless, it'll air tomorrow for the full radio audience. But I'm going to shoot for tonight to make it short and sweet. In fact, I had my whole stack here, and I was back there. Did I give that to the crew? Oh, here it is. Here's just some of the stack that I printed off this morning that I wanted them to add to their article. Document Cam, please. The Vatican calls for world government, Forbes. And then it's got the text calling for global government based on the euro. Bankers declare U.S. Europe conquered. This has more than 18 video links and text links with world leaders admitting their plan for a private corporate world government. Bankers declare U.S. and Europe conquered. World government now an open secret. I'm going to call Paul Watson up. I think I'm going to have him add to the article he did today where they're coming out and saying, oh, a third of Americans, believe in a new world order. Oh, how terrible. They're such kooks. I mean, I guess a third of Americans that responded to your jilted survey, which was made to make people look stupid that are aware of the governing system of the planet that happens to be authoritarian, those are people that happen to have been actually well-informed. But you have to be hiding under a rock to not know what's happening. I mean, here it is. Goldman Sachs rules the world, Bank of England next. And then it's got links to all the mainstream news articles where they declare that private banks have conquered us through fraud. Pope calls for global authority on the economy. That is Reuters, but it doesn't exist. World Bank president admits agenda for global government. Trichet calls for corrupt BIS to boss global government in CFR speech and says global governance. We can do it. The New York Times, Ban Ki-moon calls for global government and global taxes. Rothschild's ruse difficulty of activating global governance agenda. That's a quote at Copenhagen. UN blueprint, dismantle middle class, build world government, with actual links to them saying it. Fox News. Danish text of the treaty. Report, third of U.S. West Coast hit with thyroid problems. That's another one of our top stories we're going to be getting here today. But see, this is about, what did Jim Carrey do a few weeks ago? And he's now threatening to sue the media, Fox News and others, if you criticize him. Doesn't believe in the First Amendment either. He's an authoritarian mental patient. I mean, it's on record. The guy locks himself in dark rooms for days. He's completely out of his mind. Buzz Bissinger, who says he wants me killed, and the host of the show on CNN agreed, yeah, let's kill Alex Jones. I would be arrested if I said that. Spends $600,000 a year, he admits, on women's clothing. And again, Buzz, I'm not even judging you for liking to dress up in women's clothing. I understand that's trendy. It's just the $600,000. Well, that's some conspicuous consumption. And then you're bragging about your ouches. I mean, the point is, these are a bunch of lunatics. And what did he do? In the piece where they demonize Charlton Heston, they have the crowd for 5 minutes laugh at Charlton Heston that Jim Carrey's playing. And people watch that and go, I don't want to get laughed at. I better turn my gun in. And that's what the media does in all these sitcoms, dramas, cop shows, but news shows as well. They make fun of people and demonize people who believe in a global corporate governance. I mean, exactly what the old-timers 50 years ago at the John Birch Society said was coming has now come and is now here. And the media then just laughs at us and says it doesn't exist. And that's the same thing here. I have a clip of Glenn Beck covering this, laughing at people that believe in the Bilderberg Group and Illuminati, and he laughs and says it doesn't exist. This is days ago, last week. And I'm not here to bash Glenn Beck, but I mean, that's pure gatekeeping bull. Glenn Beck wants you to believe the world government is only George Soros when it's Bill Gates, it's all of them. Okay? And that's why he's attacking me. We'll be right back. Hello, I'm Alex Jones. Myself, my family, the Infowars.com team want to relay to you and your families that we are intensifying our efforts against the globalist on every front. Infowars.com is leading the fight against the technocrats. But we can't do that without your help. By getting the films, bumper stickers, and T-shirts at Infowars.com, you will wake up people in your area and support our operation as we move to the next level. We need your help to spread the word like never before. They wish to hide themselves during this tectonic battle between the forces of freedom and darkness. You are the response to the globalist technocrats and their program of global eugenics, dehumanization, and ultimate extermination. The war is here. It's an info war. The spirit of 1776 versus the mindset of 1984.
Whew, nice shooting. Hey, that's a sweet AK-47 chest rig. Is that multicam?
Yep, got it from StrikeHardGear.com.
Strike what?
StrikeHardGear.com.
Set your sights on StrikeHardGear.com. Tough, tactical gear for your Soviet-style weapon that's made in the USA. Affordable, plus a no-questions-asked 30-day money-back guarantee and lifetime replacement warranty. StrikeHardGear.com. Go ahead. Pull the trigger.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit, then carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Hi, Ted Anderson. I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
In an emergency situation, would you drink contaminated water? You could if you had the amazing LifeStraw from MyPatriotSupply.com. LifeStraw is the most advanced personal water filter available today. It filters contaminated water from almost any source. LifeStraw is lightweight and compact, perfect for hiking, camping, or in an emergency like a flood. LifeStraw is easy to clean, comes with a 1-year warranty, and has been used worldwide since 2005. Get the amazing LifeStraw personal water filter at MyPatriotSupply.com. Plus, check out Survival Seed Vault, 20 seed varieties for only $37.95, Tatler canning lids, long-term storable foods as low as $69.95, and much more at MyPatriotSupply.com. Enjoy stress-free shipping on all orders over $49. Call 866-229-0927 or visit MyPatriotSupply.com. That's 866-229-0927. MyPatriotSupply.com for emergency preparedness, self-reliance, and food independence.
Is this the year you finally get serious about your family's drinking water? If so, keep listening for a special offer from Big Berkey Water Filters. Did you know that over 60% of municipal water is fluoridated? Berkey Water Filters distinguish themselves from many other filtration systems with the capability to significantly reduce dangerous chlorine, fluoride, arsenic, and disinfection byproducts from municipal water via the Black Berkey and PF line of filters. Then there's affordability. At only 1.7 cents per gallon, Berkey Water Filters purify treated and untreated water, even stagnant pond water. Stop and think how much money you could save by simply reducing buying bottled water and using water filtered by your Berkey water filter. No need to be constantly replacing expensive filters with a Berkey. A single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. Choose the best size Berkey for your needs at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And right now, all GCN listeners get 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Just call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY or visit BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. Free shipping on every order over $50. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Come on, come on, come on, baby. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, I love it. Good old Ted Nugent. Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. Back weeknights, 7 o'clock with InfoWars Nightly News. Find listing details at Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, and PrisonPlanet.tv. You know what? I'm going to get to the news here in a moment. Crank up Ted for a minute. orders bluff. Because they've got contingencies for that, and it's going to kill a lot of people. But if they try to have a hard, hot takeover of this country, following a bunch of staged false flags, that is the better course. It is the lesser of two evils. And I don't believe in the lesser of two evils unless you're only presented with that and you have no other choice. And that's why in just the last few years there have been 70+ million background checks with people buying firearms out there. They know who the enemy is. They know there's been a takeover. They turn on any sitcom or drama or cop show and see the founding fathers and liberty and families and men and gun ownership demonized. People aren't stupid. The over-the-topness of the globalist propaganda has been and will be their undoing. All right, let me just, again, I just looked at one headline and went off a rabbit trail for 12 minutes on that. Let me just try to give you the headlines again here. Let me just try as best I can the magnitude of these headlines. I spent an hour this morning reading this one article and following the links, wishing it wasn't true. This news is so incredible that there should be anyone who loves their children. I've got to just give you the public service announcement. There needs to be, well, it's too late now, an evacuation from the West Coast. And it shows you how humans will just sit there and kill themselves to live. And I knew the numbers when I had top radiologists and nuclear experts on at the time. I knew the numbers a year and a half, 2 years ago. How long ago was Fukushima? And I knew that there would be quite a bit of radiation coming down over Texas, actually. But nothing compared to the West Coast. And, of course, it turned out that the federal government knew within 3 months, and it didn't come out for over a year, that all of the tuna coming from the Pacific, the bluefin, the yellowfin, that migrates back and forth between Japan and the West Coast of the United States, had off-the-charts levels of different radioactive isotopes in it. In some cases, hundreds of times what they said was safe. So they just raised the level in fish for what they say is safe radiation-wise. And there have been mass deaths all over Japan. It's come out even in their media, but they just keep it quiet. The butterflies are heavily mutated. Most of the fish are mutated now. The frogs are mutated all over the country of Japan. Conservatively, the 6 reactors, 5 of them being heavily damaged, 4 of them completely melting down and exploding, in one case shooting fuel rods 2 miles. I went and looked up the Mach 3 reactor, looked up its diagrams, blew up the video, said within 12 hours of it happening. That is not just the containment rods stored on top, the spent fuel rods, over 500,000 stored at the facility, 200,000 on top the Mach 3. It was number 3 reactor, Mach reactor, plutonium-uranium reactor, as bad as it gets. It exploded in a mushroom cloud, and then they picked up the isotopes that meant that it had gone critical and actually had a chain reaction. And I had top European Union and British experts, like, let's get Dr. Busby back on about this immediately, by the way. And, I mean, they picked up the isotopes there. It was picked up in the radiology journals, the journals of, that break down the radiation, that they picked up that fission had happened. Chain reaction had happened. And children all over the country are just dropping dead on the playground. Their teeth are falling out. They're having bleeding out of their intestines. All the signs, all the fast-growing cells are dying. And the children just have cardiac arrest and fall dead. And then they're just mopped up quietly, and the Japanese soldier through it. Well, here's the new report. 1/3 of U.S. West Coast children hit with thyroid problems following Fukushima. And all I said was, please protect your thyroid. And I was called a conspiracy theorist. And now these children, many of them, will die.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
In the last 2 years alone, the U.S. has seen huge losses to our food supply. In 2011, storms and floods raged across the U.S., costing us $20 billion in lost crops alone. In 2012, we saw the largest drought in the country in more than 50 years. You may think out of sight, out of mind, and so you don't think you will be affected. The fact is you are. We all are. Food shortages drive prices up for everyone. You might not be able to control Mother Nature, but you can control your food prices by freezing the cost and availability of your food supply with eFoods Direct. Be prepared before you need it. With nutrient-dense food you can store for up to 25 years. You can hope for the best, but hope won't feed you. Do what I've done and get your own supply of the best storable foods out there from eFoods Direct. Call 800-409-5633 or visit them on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex and check out their spring specials. Again, that number is 800-409-5633 or on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
Devastating events like earthquakes, tornadoes, floods, hurricanes, or the threat of martial law have highlighted the need for Americans to prepare for emergencies. As a result, millions are stockpiling food, gold, and weapons. But how will these items help if you or one of your loved ones becomes ill? Supernatural Silver is the ultimate tool to prepare you for a medical emergency. Supernatural Silver is a natural antibiotic that is uniquely effective against bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus, and is remarkable for wound care. Taken internally or used topically, it can help keep you safe from deadly pathogens. Supernatural Silver has over 500 different uses and a long-term shelf life, making it the #1 choice of preppers across the country. To find out how this amazing new technology can help you be prepared, go to supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PREPARED for 20% off your entire order and like us on Facebook.
If you want an American company with American products made by Americans, here is the Cal Ben Soap Company. Alex and his staff have used these pure soap products for years. These all-natural soaps are made from the highest quality vegetable and coconut oils that are earth-friendly and safe. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog. Buy the 1 to 2 month sample package and enjoy soaps that are twice as good as what you're using now. Or save big with a 1 to 2 year supply of soaps for all your cleaning needs. This is an amazing deal. You can save thousands of dollars and you will love the way real soap makes you feel. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas. The first reports say that President Kennedy has been seriously wounded by this shooting.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
Either you were with us or you were with the terrorists.
But I also believe that a lot of gun owners would agree that AK-47s belong in the hands of soldiers, not in the hands of criminals.
Guns will be taken, and no one will be able to be armed. We will take all weapons.
For many of the police and guard troops, it is an uncomfortable job to do this in an American city.
Global governance at last. Is it one world? The central bankers in charge. But aren't we all just living and dying for what the central banks do?
As for me, give me liberty or give me death!
Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will get back into this incredible report that, again, I spent an hour this morning poring over, fact-checking, and I already knew these numbers were coming out about 6 months ago in a preliminary research. But again, the Fukushima reactor meltdown happened in 2011. In March of 2011. Wow, hard to believe it's already been 2 years. And milk levels all over the country spiked, in some cases hundreds of times the safe radiation level. In places like Connecticut, it all depends where the trade winds come back down in the lower atmosphere. But all universities all over California, from Berkeley to San Jose College to the colleges up in Alaska. That's where within weeks, the currents from Japan's a lot closer to Alaska than it is to the west coast of Canada and the west coast of the U.S. The seals dying, people's hair falling out, the air traffic controllers, hair falling out, the people that work on the aircraft, their hair falling out, radiation poisoning. And so what did the Environmental Protection Agency do? And I'm going to do a report on this tonight showing all these documents. They're putting it together. I'm going to be on the Nightly News as a guest tonight, breaking this down, 7 o'clock Central, and then we'll cover it more tomorrow with Mike Adams when he sits in. It's just, this is such a big deal. Report, third of U.S. West Coast children hit with thyroid problems following Fukushima. And that's in the Journal of Pediatrics, Radiation and Public Health Project. And also information out of UC Berkeley. And it's got all the recordings of what happened. And it is just absolutely devastating. Again, with children, the thyroid particularly absorbs the radioactive isotopes. And they should have been saying everybody's got to go on TheraSafe. I know Homeland Security on the West Coast ordered it immediately and went on it. I mean, within days of Fukushima happening, Homeland Security ordered it and ordered its people on the West Coast to go on it. And that came out. But they weren't going to give you the memo. Just like when the dust is full of asbestos, concrete powder, pulverized glass, there's 6, 7, 8, 10 feet of it. Most of Lower Manhattan had at least a foot of it. And you've got all the tsunami wreckage that took about a year to get across there. They didn't warn anybody. I mean, that had a lot of plutonium on it that takes billions of years to retrograde and to go into its half-life. And it all came right across the Pacific, the northern Pacific, right into the West Coast. Some of it also hit northern Mexico, but not as much as, I mean, northern California up is just off the charts. And people are delusional. They just think, oh, we can make an excuse for it. Kind of like vaccine damage. I mean, if you've got tens of millions of American kids, hundreds of millions of kids worldwide, damaged from vaccines on record, and the insert says it can give you neurological disorders, narcolepsy, Guillain-Barré, but then when it happens to you, they say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. I mean, I can play a clip of 10 world leaders right now calling for a world government, and they'll just say, doesn't exist, conspiracy theory. And that becomes the magic, you know, oh, I can drink a bottle of vodka every night and not get liver failure. That's a conspiracy theory. And you know what? You will end up getting liver failure. Just a fact. But this is the age of the hoax. That's why the new magazine, the new InfoWars magazine, the April issue is Welcome to Planet Hoax. Because that's what we've become. I mean, look at this. Still think that Fukushima nuclear meltdown of 2011 never affected the United States public? Young children born in the United States West Coast, this is up on Infowars.com, right in the line of fire for radioactive isotopes, have been found to be 28% more likely to develop congenital hyperthyroidism than infants born the years before the incident. And that's just one indicator, folks. Same thing. Now, again, I said earlier, I said, do you know how much worse Fukushima is than Chernobyl? And then I never gave the answer because I was scanning my brain for it and thinking of what Dr. Busby broke down and what the other nuclear private commissions broke down. Anywhere between 7 and 100 times, depending on how you break it down with computer models, because it's still belching the stuff out, and there's more of it coming across the ocean, and more of it, you know, the really heavy stuff that fell quicker, onto all the rubble and onto all the garbage and onto all the tsunami wreckage that it just goes in a big circular vacuum cleaner around and 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 around the west coast of North America. I mean, it's horrible. And this is in the Journal of Pediatrics, Radiation and Public Health Project, UC Berkeley. I mean, I can just keep going over all this for you. And again, this comes out. It was first published in Natural Society. Report, third of U.S. West Coast children hit with thyroid problems following Fukushima. Now, here's the deal. 92%, in fact, show that to folks. There's 420-something operating reactors that are for energy. There's a couple hundred other smaller ones that we know of. 2 of them are in Austin that nobody seems to know about. People call me a conspiracy theory for that. I've had people in restaurants twice walk up, once on the street, once in a restaurant, and say, you said there's a nuclear reactor. I asked my cousin that's a professor. He says you're a liar. Okay, fine. There's no reactors. I had a guy, I've told the story, come up and poke me in the shoulder and go, you're a liar. There's no goats that are part spider. I don't appreciate you lying. And I said, get out of my face. Oh, there's the U.S. NRC, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and I guess that's why they call me a liar. Click on that. Show that. Do they even show the reactors in Austin on that? I don't think they do. I guess. They got the South Texas Project Unit 2. See, they're only listing power generators there. Just show them. Anybody can Google it. Type in University of Texas nuclear reactors. It'll show the J.J. Pickle, and then they don't want to talk about the one under UT because it scares all the yuppies. Ann Coulter, you know, she says the Japanese ought to be thankful for the radiation over there because it's, quote, good for you. Yeah, I guess if they shoot targeted radiation at some cancer, it's been shown to slow it down. The problem is that all my family that's been cooked with targeted radiation, it starts leaking so bad in their brain or in their pancreas that kills them. Because, you know, you fry a bunch of meat in there and it starts leaking. You know what? It's a conspiracy theory. Radiation's good for you. I agree with Ann Coulter. Report, third of West Coast children hit with thyroid problems following Fukushima. And you know what? I shouldn't be concerned about that. The study followed children born in California, Alaska, Washington, Hawaii, Oregon between the first and 16 weeks after a horrific meltdown at Fukushima back in 2011. Published in the Open Journal of Pediatrics by researchers affiliated with the Radiation and Public Health Project, the information further lends credence to previous documentation regarding the way in which radioactive fallout ended up on U.S. soil. Well, yeah, we've got the Environmental Protection Agency raised radioactive isotopes between 25 and 2,500 times, depending on what isotope it was. Oh, you're worried about radiation that they're finding in the milk and the produce, all the stuff that hits the ground. Cows eat grass, it bioaccumulates in them, it's excreted in their mammary glands, their udders. I know that's a conspiracy theory, but that's where the milk comes from, is cows' udders. They eat grass. And then you drink that and it bioaccumulates. Same thing with cabbage, lettuce, root vegetables, you know, rutabagas, things like that, onions. So, you know, I mean, my wife was in Europe when Chernobyl happened. And for a year, she was in Italy then. Her dad was a diplomat with the agriculture department. They had only frozen vegetables flown in from the United States and other areas in Asia, and only powdered milk, which said it was the all-girls school they went to at the time. And all over Europe, the children did not drink milk. And, you know, the adults said, well, we don't care. It doesn't affect us. Our tissue isn't as fast-growing. See, fast-growing cells are really jacked by radiation. That's why when Japan got A-bombed, most adults didn't die from radiation poisoning. It was little kids. Because they got fast-growing cells, folks, and it fries fast-growing cells. And so she told me about that. I went and looked it up, and sure enough, found TV shows from the time, you know, 60 Minutes and stuff reporting on Chernobyl a year later about Europeans have taken the precautions, and it showed the plume that went into northern Europe and southern Europe and western Europe and eastern Europe, and it showed it there in Ukraine, and it showed what it did, and they estimate 1 million people have died from complications, and they've got the Chernobyl necklace. And they've got hundreds of square miles around Chernobyl that nobody can even go into. And the plants all grow weird from it. And conservatively, the lowest estimates are that Fukushima was 7 times Chernobyl. People are like, Alex, be a little, what about the Rangers? What about, how are the Rangers going to do this year? Okay, fine, the Rangers. What about the NFL? I mean, what do you think is going to happen with the NFL draft? I mean, look, I could care less, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not because I don't like football. I get the fun of betting your buddies $20 and sitting around drinking beer and, eating fried chicken and watching a football game. I get it. I've done it. The point is there's radiation raining down on us. Japan is having massive problems. And it's all just swept under the rug, and so is everything else. The tyranny, the drones, the oppression, the sodium fluoride in the water. All of this is just swept under the rug. And the establishment itself has become completely delusional. And the guys have pulled up some statistics here on peer-reviewed national organization of local, state, and federal employees has access to internal EPA emails, claims that the new standards of results are nearly 1,000-fold increases for exposure amounts, 900 to 3,000 to 100,000-fold hike of exposure of iodine-131 and almost 25,000 rise for exposure of radioactive nickel-63 in drinking water. See, I love how everything becomes a rumor. I saw a Washington Blogs article the other day that had a link to a video, FEMA video from my film Road to Tyranny, that said it is claimed that FEMA teaches that the Founding Fathers were terrorists when it's real footage shot by a firefighter at a law enforcement event with FEMA demonizing it, and I show the training manuals, and it's on record, but it becomes a rumor. And then, see, I told the guys, I said, go find the Environmental Protection Agency and the Food and Drug Administration. They were involved. It's on their website. I know this is 1.5 years old, but this is on. We wrote articles about it. Just type in Infowars.com after it. See, that's some site. And I told the guys, I find that they're doing a great job, but they find something where someone says, internal emails people claim showed this. It's not a rumor. It's not a rumor the Gulf of Tonkin was staged. It was in the San Diego Herald Tribune 6 months after it happened when the commanding officers of the ships got off and said it was all a lie, we weren't attacked. But no one ever had the newspaper article, so it became a rumor until they declassified it in 2004. That it was all staged. So good job finding that, guys. But let me give you the exact headline. Hold on. Just add an Infowars.com behind it and click web because it'll be old. Type in government raises safe radiation levels after Fukushima. Infowars.com, and then it will go to our articles by Paul Watson, Kurt Nimmo, and others, linking directly to the Environmental Protection Agency and the Food and Drug Administration. But the first one was the Environmental Protection Agency. But see, this is how knowledge works. It just becomes a rumor. Like it's a rumor there are FEMA camps, and Glenn Beck can get up there and say, there are no FEMA camps, Alex Jones is a dangerous liar, when I have the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, the Civilian Labor Camp Program. Type this in. You'll be at army.mil and FEMA.gov. Army Manual on Gun Confiscation, Army Manual on Re-Education Camps in America. You'll be at army.mil. Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program. You'll be at army.mil. The program was secret from the 70s to 1998 when Clinton declassified it to hide it in plain view. That's an ongoing program with slaves on military bases, secretly right now, but it's now declassified. The Emergency Centers Establishment Act. You want me to keep going with some executive orders here? I mean, I'm just laying on you fact, 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 fact. And then I get attacked by Neo-Condom, the Neo-Kingdom. The gatekeepers who sit up there and say, Alex Jones is nuts. You know, I was reminded of Glenn Beck this morning, the clip where he said there isn't 1.5 billion bullets. Alex Jones is a liar. We're going to play that coming up at the bottom. And I'm not here to attack Glenn Beck, except he is attacking me, I've learned now, every week, telling his listeners, you can't trust Alex Jones. No, you can't trust Glenn Beck. And I'm on a lot of the same stations with him. And for program directors, you know it, you hear it. I didn't start this. Okay, the bullets are real. The FEMA camps are real. Fukushima's real. I'm real, buddy. And I know effeminate men don't like real men. I get it. You trollop. Get out of my way. I'm trying to save this republic. All right? We'll be right back with more news. Stay with me.
In the last 2 years alone, the U.S. has seen huge losses to our food supply. In 2011, storms and floods raged across the U.S., costing us $20 billion in lost crops alone. In 2012, we saw the largest drought in the country in more than 50 years. You may think out of sight, out of mind, and so you don't think you will be affected. The fact is you are. We all are. Food shortages drive prices up for everyone. You might not be able to control Mother Nature, but you can control your food prices by freezing the cost and availability of your food supply with eFoods Direct. Be prepared before you need it. With nutrient-dense food you can store for up to 25 years. You can hope for the best, but hope won't feed you. Do what I've done and get your own supply of the best storable foods out there from eFoods Direct. Call 800-409-5633 or visit them on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex and check out their spring specials. Again, that number is 800-409-5633 or on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
Hello, this is Ty Bollinger, author of the best-selling book, Cancer, Step Outside the Box. I want you to know some very important information. In 1985, President Ronald Reagan requested that Carnivora be sent directly to the White House at a time when only the president could obtain this world-class healer. Now, 27 years later, Carnivora capsules are used around the world to keep people healthy. Now you can protect yourself and your loved ones in this age of superbugs with 17 naturally occurring compounds that instinctively respond to abnormal cells only without harming a single normal cell. If you want to stay healthy, now's your chance to literally wake up your critical immune cells to attack harmful invaders that don't belong in your body. Call 1-866-VENUS-FLY or order from carnivora.com. That's CARNIVORA.com. That's 1-866-836-8735, 1-866-VENUS-FLY, or visit carnivora.com. Protect your immune system. It's the only one you've got.
The coming financial collapse is real. The subsequent social unrest will happen. Even if you made it out of suburbia alive, where would you take your family? Act now to secure your survival retreat in the American Redoubt with the experts at survivalretreatconsulting.com. The American Redoubt is the designated safe haven for all liberty-minded patriots relocating to Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. Get eyes, ears, and boots on the ground. Get professional, confidential, discreet advice. Get survivalretreatconsulting.com. Call 208-627-2855. Save time, money, and stress while you secure your ultimate survival retreat property now, before it's too late. Water, energy, food, defense. survivalretreatconsulting.com. survivalretreatconsulting.com.
Strange days have found us. Strange days have tracked us down. They're going to
destroy us. Welcome back, folks. Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We've got this veteran coming on, one of the many victims with no due process, no reason, no adjudication. They just take your guns. The purge is on. You're to be replaced with robots and drones, self-aware, autonomous, picking their own targets. The future doesn't need us. By the way, McDonald's wants... I can't even say this headline. It's so insane. Out of the Washington Examiner. McDonald's want ad demands bachelor's degree, 2 years experience to be a cashier for $9 an hour. That's what your degrees you're paying $200,000, $300,000 are going to be good for. And then the next article I have here, robots to take over jobs in human service industry, increasing the percentage of unemployed Americans. Yeah, this is the phase out of humanity. But first they're going to bankrupt us and make us dependent. But getting back to why I'm so upset about the Fukushima radiation that's so bad on the West Coast, and all the radiation meters that went off and the rest of it, is that they said there's no problem from the start, kept it secret how high it was in the seafood, and lied to everybody while the government went on thyroid protectors themselves, just like the dust on 9/11, which it now came out they knew was killing people and was going to fill people's lungs. And they told the firefighters and police and rescue workers, don't worry, you don't need masks. It's not bad. And people went, okay. Yeah, there it is. Fukushima fish with 2,500 times the radiation limit found 2 years after the nuclear disaster. And there is from NOAA, the radiation meter pickups from the buoys. That's directly from the federal government, the radiation. Look at it, just hitting everywhere. Absolutely devastating to have this type of stuff going on. And then meanwhile, the government's now got 2 billion, 200 million plus rounds they bought. Finally, the White House has responded and said, okay, well, we bought them to get a better deal, even though it actually more than doubled the price when they caused the run on the ammo. It doesn't matter. Glenn Beck says, I'm a liar because we broke this story. Here it is.
It's amazing because he runs InfoWars, when really smart people have come up to me and said, you know, I just saw this on something from InfoWars. Do you know anything about it? And I'm like,
yes,
yeah, stay away from it.
Immediately discounted.
Somebody came up to me just 2 days ago and said, we just bought like 1.5 billion rounds of Homeland Security. And I said, I don't know, it might be. Well, I got it from InfoWars. And I'm like, okay, well, no. Then I can tell you right now, it's most likely not true.
There you go. And I have a new clip we're going to play in about 45 minutes where he says that there's no Bilderberg Group or Illuminati. And every year we go to Bilderberg and cover it. Glenn Beck gets freaked out because, you know, just on Justin TV, we'll get 3.5 million viewers. I mean, just in a day or two, just with a video stream. Glenn Beck goes on air and says it doesn't exist. Because I guess Peter Thiel, the big libertarian Bilderberg Group member, has got his thumb all over the liberty movement. I mean, I just don't even know what to say anymore. Okay, all right, there are no bullets, there's no Bilderberg Group, and there's no global government either, Glenn. Oh, but you're not gatekeeping, Glenn. Sure, I'm the liar. Oh, by the way, he calls me a fascist and a piece of garbage. Because, folks, the globalists know I'm for real.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the Life Straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Well, you know Connecticut's the new model state to arrest people for 10-round mags, shut down gun shows, make you get insurance to register, be able to own ammo. And they are really persecuting veterans with no criminal records, honorably discharged with no mental history. And David Schmecker is joining us in the next segment. Honorably discharged, disabled U.S. Navy veteran from Connecticut with no criminal record, no psychiatric history. We're going to repost this article in the guest section. When you ask the guys to do that in a little guest box, people can find it because it's from yesterday. Veterans' guns confiscated after forced psychiatric evaluation. Purge against armed ex-servicemen accelerates. And before I introduce him, when we start the next segment, I'm going to get into this article up on Infowars.com. And it's Gun Criminal. Snoop Dogg releases anti-gun song. This is a guy that brags about shooting people and has a long criminal record. That's why he's so popular. He is the real deal. Hypocritical gun control ballad from the man who previously said, I wouldn't be the N-word that I am if I didn't pop N-words in the mouth. And he goes on when he talks about popping is shooting him with the AK-47. I'm not going to read these lyrics, how much he talks about 44 Desert Eagle in the mother bleeper dome, that's the head, and show him why they call me the Notorious One. The name's Dre Eastwood. I mean, what is he, a Crip? Yeah, he's a famous Crip. When I'm packing a gun, well, now he says turn your guns in, and I totally get it. What criminal wouldn't want their quarry disarmed? Oh, by the way, you know about all these DAs and people getting killed? It's the Mexican Mafia, folks. And when I say Mexican Mafia, that's a catch-all for the 5 or 6 big cartels that operate in the U.S. They had a car bomb in Dallas a few years ago that blew up, and it wasn't even in the news. It was like, because you know, they don't want you, they want the borders wide open. They want to get the collapse of the U.S. going first with Homeland Security. Now the police all over the Southwest are digging in an armored keep. See, that's why they like your wife. They like to pull her over and give her a ticket and maybe arrest her if she had one beer. They don't mess with anybody with the skinny one tattoo, you know, the Grim Reaper. Dallas adds security for county officials. But guess what? One DA in Denver was waiting when the killer came and had a gun and killed him. DAs, turn your guns in. If a DA supports, like they do in Denver, taking our guns, you need to have your gun taken when you go home. You shouldn't be able to have a gun, much less a semi-auto, when the drug cartel comes for you. I mean, you know, if the drug cartel comes for me and if I see them coming, they could be in an armored vehicle, and I'll be like, say hello to the Barrett 50 cal. And the whole point is I sit here in my office. Am I worried about some mass shooter coming here to get me? No, I got a bunch of concealed carry people work here. I'm packing right here. You know what? Good luck. Good luck, because I see you coming, friend. You know what's going to happen. So that's the type of stuff that's going on, ladies and gentlemen. They want our guns, and the government's arming to the teeth, and then lying and saying they weren't. Now they're caught. They're like, oh, well, here's why we did it. But they've got Glenn Beck, their friend, saying I'm lying about the bullets. I mean, he must think his audience is about that. And I don't even want to attack Glenn Beck. By the way, it's not good to do that. Okay? I don't like doing it. I take the high road. I don't attack other talk show hosts. Even when they say outrageous stuff, I try to leave it alone. We got bigger fish to fry. It's just that he's in my business.
That sounds like the ravings of a fascist.
Talking about me. That's what he said. When I talk about the 1.5 billion bullets, it's 2 billion, Glenn. And he goes, that sounds like the ravings of a fascist. And this was months after it was all admitted. I mean, he must think, and he goes, he gets on the microphone and goes, you can only trust me. It's so creepy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I can only trust you. Sounds like the guy that pulls up in the white van of the schoolyard. You know, I'm not going to trust you, buddy. Okay.
You prepare by purchasing gold, food, and firearms. But if you don't have a home security system, then you're missing a critical weapon in your arsenal for home protection. When you're sleeping or away from home, who's watching out for intruders? Check out SimpliSafe. It's a new do-it-yourself home security system that is completely wireless. Go to GetSimpliSafe.com. SimpliSafe is independent and off the grid. It runs on battery power, so even if the grid goes down, you're protected. It's completely customizable, so you can use it in your home, business, boat, trailer, storage unit, or shed. GetSimpliSafe.com. SimpliSafe is also ridiculously easy to install yourself in under 20 minutes, so there's no need to let a stranger into your home. If you move or need to relocate, you can take the system with you wherever you go. You aren't always at home, but SimpliSafe will stand guard, protecting your property 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Again, that's GetSimpliSafe.com.
Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139.
You may be arrested and or subject to other police action. Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on Earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship. Body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
All right, in a moment, we're going to talk to David Schmecker, who is up in Connecticut, where they've got 10 different things. Gun bans, ammo restrictions, insurance to get ammo, above 10-round mags banned, registering what mags you have for confiscation. I mean, hellish stuff. Huge runs on guns and ammo being reported by NBC News. They're in Connecticut, and they're passing this stuff. They're passing this stuff all over the country, from Colorado to you name it. They're coming for our guns. Their goal worldwide under the UN treaty is to get our guns. That the UN has signed off on it. Now it's going to the U.S. Senate. And you've heard Dianne Feinstein. She says there will be more events. We will get your guns. So it's all happening right now. Now, I've got one of the most important Second Amendment, but not just Second Amendment, liberty alerts, civil rights, human rights, God-given rights alerts. Usually when people are faced with tyranny, they don't recognize how incredible it is in their time. We recognize Stalin or Mao or Hitler or Pol Pot or Fidel Castro. Or we recognize Julius Caesar as a tyrant. because that's a tyrant of another age. People always are resistant to recognizing the tyranny of their time. Because the tyrant of their time will come after them if they get in their face. The tyrant of the time is always demonizing anybody that says they're a tyrant, like King George III. And what happened in 1776, it was the exact same demonization in the spy networks that we now see Homeland Security putting out, saying if you're a gun owner, if you're a returning veteran, if you are a constitutionalist or a patriot or a right-winger or a libertarian, you are the new terror threat. And they say number one amongst that paramount range is the returning veteran. And they must be disarmed. Now, that sounds crazy, except if you know history. Every tyranny for thousands of years, when it takes over, if there was an old guard that had been taught old tricks, you don't teach a new dog, new tricks. You don't teach an old dog new tricks. You teach the new guys they bring in. The new tyranny. They can't.
And what we need to do is change the way in which people think about guns, especially young people. One thing that I think is clear with young people and with adults as well is that we just have to be repetitive about this. It's not enough to simply have a catchy ad on a Monday and then only do it every Monday. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
And that's the former Deputy Attorney General, now the Attorney General. He was saying that as Deputy Attorney General under Clinton. And he said also use Oklahoma City to blame conservatives and libertarians for the terror attack, just like they staged Fast and Furious. Now, we're going to our guest here in a moment. My point is they know they can't teach old dogs new tricks, so they bring in new dogs. And whether it was Stalin, Hitler, Mao, Julius Caesar, Fidel Castro, there is not a case where the old guard that was less authoritarian was not hunted down and exterminated. Okay? So, when we broke 4 years ago, when I was sent by a federal marshal, a federal document, and then sent by state police, the state version of it, the Mack report, for about 5-6 days, Ron Paul's office called, and they said, is this really real? Hey, have you called? How do you know it's real? I said, I called the phone number on it, and the FBI agent started threatening me and saying, where did you get that? You shouldn't have that, and admitted it was real. And I said, I've read these before. This was written by the ADL or Southern Poverty Law Center. I mean, I've gotten probably 100 of these over the years. For some reason, it finally got people's attention. And then Homeland Security responded in the Associated Press and said, we back this up. We agree with this. The number one terror threat is veterans, then conservatives, libertarians, born-again Christians, constitutionalists, in the fetters. There's more than 20 groups on that list. So even Ron Paul had people call me and say, Alex, is this really real? Because Ron Paul's name was on the list as a terrorist. Yeah, Air Force veterans with no criminal records, not even speeding tickets, that volunteered at charity hospitals for no pay, who stand up for the Constitution. Yeah, he's a terrorist, ladies and gentlemen. When you see terrorist, remove that and say patriot, good guy, real man, head screwed on straight, a threat to the foreign globalists that are taking us over. I mean, who do you expect a foreign takeover army to want to purge? When Hitler took over France with collaborators, who did he go after? The people that weren't collaborators. And then he purged the collaborators that opened the door for him. You don't want traitors that open the drawbridge. You are disdained, you traitors out there, by the globalists as well. They're scared of you. They know the type of scum you are. You're the first people they're going to go after. So those of you that persecute retired police and military and people, you're going to be persecuted as well. You're at the top of the list. Not by Alex Jones, by your own system. Now, I'm going to go to our guest who's holding. The point is that I have an article here, Dallas adds security for county officials because they don't know who. They're saying white supremacist. And I know the MO. White supremacists do have a history of shooting cops and prosecutors. No, nothing like the Mexican mafia's history. I'd say 70% chance it's a Mexican gang, a real cartel, 20 to 30% chance it is something like a white supremacist group. But they've killed a bunch of the different prosecutors, wardens, you name it, out in Colorado. And here's NBC: intruder killed while breaking into Colorado prosecutor's home. And guess what? The prosecutor used a semi-auto to take him out. And you notice they don't want you to know, if it was a white supremacist, they'd already be saying it was a white supremacist. Probably Mexican mafia, folks. Probably a worshiper of the Grim Reaper. That's what all those groups worship. 5, 6 different versions of the Grim Reaper. It's a death cult. It's like the ninja. They're into being killed. They don't care. We weren't really a death cult in 1776, but it was kind of the same deal. People just get tired, and they say, I'll kill whoever I'm told to kill. And that's what happens when the veneer of civilization boils off. I mean, cops, when the Civil War starts, are going to be in armored fortresses guarding themselves while everybody starves on the outside. I've always said fortress mentality, that's what it's going to. Now, before all this happens, they want to get a list of gun owners thinking that's going to help them before they start snatching their pension funds and bank accounts, because they think veterans are going to try to organize, as they always do, to take back the states peacefully, and you're going to be targeted. You try to run for city council, they're going to take your guns and say you're a mental patient. So they're worried about veterans because they're worried you may take action peacefully. So they're going to demonize you and then try to start a hot war with you. Now, going to our guest here, he'll be with us till about 45 after, David Schmecker, honorably discharged, disabled U.S. Navy veteran from Connecticut with no criminal record and no psychiatric history. And I said to him during the break, I said, let me guess, you went in for a medical checkup for a physical issue and your guns were taken. And he goes, yep. So everybody who's a veteran, here's the article, federal government moves to disarm veterans. They're all getting a letter saying that we will order you to relinquish your guns or we'll send police to take your guns, no judge or jury. And physical reasons, they're now taking veterans' kids if your leg's blown off. Okay, and there's the letter notice if you're watching us on InfoWars News at PrisonPlanet.tv. Going to Mr. Schmecker, here's the headline. Veterans' guns confiscated after forced psychiatric evaluation. Purge against arms ex-servicemen accelerates. And so just briefly, tell us the story of what happened to you, what precipitated it, and where your guns are now, and how they're charging you for the days you were held at the hospital. David Schmecker, thank you for joining us.
Yes, no problem. Yes, I requested to see a pain management specialist, and they came back to me, the Veterans Administration came back to me and said that you have to see a half hour of a psychiatrist and a half hour of a psychologist for a spine injury. And I refuse to do that because I have a spine injury. I don't really, I don't want to see, especially not a veterans hospital psychiatrist.
No, they've always used psychiatrists in the military and authoritarian systems to demonize. There were famous cases in World War II of fuel tanks breaking on a particular bomber, and all the captains that were the pilots were issued rulings that they had psychosis, saying that the fuel tanks were dumping the fuel on their own. And it came out in Congress that they were ordered to give them that designation. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I refused, and 6 months later, basically the hospital, my primary care physician called to have a wellness check placed on me, and the local police perform a wellness check. Well, the local police came up, and there was nothing wrong with me. I had no, there was no anxiety. I wasn't combative. I basically, but I wasn't with anybody, so I had no witnesses, and they didn't have a warrant, and they, through intimidation, forcefully commandeered my vehicle and entered my home, searched and seized my weapons, and then, carted me away in an ambulance to psychiatric evaluation, which I was held for 72 hours.
Yeah, no judge, no jury, no nothing, no history, no probable cause. The police come with no warrant and drag you off. And describe what happened there in the facility.
Well, in the facility, it was really tough because you had to be very careful of what you said. I was under constant fear I wasn't going to get out of there, and they were basically letting me know that if I...
Oh, yeah, all the veterans that have told me if they can't make you mad, they'll come in at the last moment and go, I'm now having you committed for life. Yeah. There's nothing you can do to stop me. And they laugh at you, trying to get you to respond. And it's a final deal in psych warfare. I haven't talked to you yet, except for a minute before you went on air. I haven't asked you this. Did they do that to you?
Oh, mind trip, and they put drugs in me and stuff. So so there was a.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's not even in our article. They're now drugging you. Oh, my gosh. What did they give you? What did they do?
I don't even know what it's called. I didn't want to. I was flushing. The first time I was flushing it down the toilet until I realized if I didn't start taking it, they would know, So,
what did it do to you?
What did it do? Nothing. Nothing. To me, all it did was
they probably gave you Halcyon, which is basically a so-called truth serum. It'll make you can say you're a murderer. Yes, I'm a murderer. It's not really truth serum. It just makes you, listen, my dad gives it to patients so they don't remember getting their wisdom teeth pulled out. I mean, you could walk in dressed up in an Easter Bunny outfit, they wouldn't remember it. And you can tell them, say you're a murderer, and they'll say, I'm a murderer. I mean, what color were the pills?
Oh, they're little white, like oblong type of pills. They were, they blurred reality. I didn't need to have them, and I didn't want to have my reality blurred.
Folks, what you're hearing is mega, massive, ultra all veterans should be banding together. By the way, this is happening everywhere, and everyone's getting the wellness check, and all these veterans with their own businesses, kids, totally successful. The cops now are having this happen who are veterans. You're going in to see the psychiatrist, and if you don't have a use for them, they're disbanding you. Keep going.
Well, I just basically was walking on eggshells all the time there, and I just wanted to get out really quick. And so I just did whatever they wanted me to do, said whatever they wanted me to say, and made that 72 hours, be my last 72 hours.
Oh, wait a minute. So under duress and under drugging, like you were shot down over North Korea or North Vietnam, you told them what they wanted to hear so they'd quit drugging you. I mean, that's like when they said they were going to drug the so-called Colorado shooter so he'd tell the truth. Sir, you were actually in a prisoner of war Soviet-style brainwashing camp. I didn't know. Man, this country is so far gone. Start from the beginning. Describe what happened when you got there. What did they say you had to say to get out? I mean, describe it all. You got the floor. David?
They didn't really say I had to say anything. There was, people that were my roommate, in that room, which was, they were telling me, this person here is good. This person here, watch out for this person. And, watch out what you say, because if you don't, play their game, you're not getting out of here. And you're going to be put in a rubber room. And there were guys there that didn't get out of there. There were guys there that were there for years.
They took Ernest Hemingway, who won a Nobel Prize. They took him because he said the FBI was tapping his phone and harassing him. It was later declassified they were. And they electroshocked his beautiful mind into nothingness. My God, these people are evil. Keep going.
So I just got out of there, and I lived to fight another day. Basically, I didn't resist against the police like I maybe should have. But honest to God, had I resisted, I would have been beat up. I would have been put in the emergency room first, and then possibly even the morgue. So I didn't resist. They had no warrant. I had no witnesses. I saw what was coming down on me. I had to think. I thought I had like a chess player, and I realized I could, get out of this a little bit less, even though it was horrible, I could get out of it without getting hurt, and maybe even...
Sure. I mean, it's like under the Spanish Inquisition or something, or the French Inquisition. They take you down to the dungeon, and they show you a guy hanging up by his, by his ankles with burns all over him, mumbling, and they say, listen, we're going to start torturing you, and then we're going to cut your fingers off. Say that you are consorting with the devil. And it was always somebody who had land or that somebody wanted your wife. And then they take your wife in there and start raping her in front of you. They're really the devil worshippers. That's what later came out. And that's just how it works. And this is the new America. They take you in their facility. I've talked to so many vets, and it's come out. Well, I mean, I talked to Rob, who had happened to the Marine Corps guy that criticized Obama mildly, so the police SWAT team raided him. And they walked in the last day and said, well, this is it. You're not getting out. I'm having you committed. And he didn't get mad. He was smart, and they got so angry. It was all being videotaped, messing with you. And again, they're the same type of dungeon keepers that are CPS. They love dominating and abusing people. These are the type that engage in real dungeon keeping. Listen, have you talked to other veterans? Because they're all getting the wellness check letter. And when you get there, they don't tell you they're about to take your guns. And they go, oh, just see the psychiatrist for 30 minutes. And it's like, well, you ever feeling down? Yeah, doc, I've got cancer. I've been pretty depressed. Oh, your guns are gone. Oh, my back's hurt. I've also talked to vets, and I've seen the news articles where they're depressed over their leg being blown off. I mean, and it's a figure of speech. Yeah, I'm bummed out about it. Oh, your kids are gone. We say you and your wife aren't up to doing this. I mean, why do you think they're targeting veterans?
Yeah, I didn't get the letter. They used a loophole because I wouldn't play along with them. I saw this coming ahead of time. So I wasn't going to play their game, so they used a loophole. They were going to get their way. And they did, and I've since I was let out of there under my own recognizance, 72 hours after the fact. I've been battling this in the court of law, and even they made a decision. The court made a decision that my weapons should be returned to another person who has a pistol, because they confiscated my permit too. So I no longer have a pistol permit. I had it for 6 years. But anyway, so the law was handed down that the guns had to be returned to another person who had a pistol permit, and they should be done within 10 days. All the paperwork was signed by the judge, and the police department will not even go along.
Well, of course, they sell it out the back door. They always get caught doing it. But listen, the larger issue. No, they come to people now and say, "I'm going to take your guns and sell them." They do it on Discovery Channel. A veteran's died. He's been dead 4 days of a heart attack. They make fun of his dead body on Inside the LAPD, and then steal his guns in front of everyone to break our will. Just like they burned down Dorner's cabin in front of everyone and said we burned it down, and then said we didn't burn it down. But expanding on that, so they've totally railroaded you into signing your rights away. That's how they got you. Same way they railroad folks into giving their kids up. People say, well, how do they take your kid for not taking vaccines? They railroad and say, you'll get your kid back, sign this, and you've actually signed an agreement saying you've abused your children so they can take them. It's all fraud. These are criminal networks. I mean, these are real words I'm saying here. And so now they won't give you your guns back, even though there's a judge's order. Of course, I mean, it's already involved in a criminal action. Why not be more criminal? How many guns do they have?
Well, they have 3 of my guns, but while I was at that hospital, I never signed a paper. I knew that this was all wrong, and they were complicit.
Okay, so you didn't sign the paper. Why don't you come to Texas? Why didn't everybody just leave New York and Connecticut and all these places? I mean, this seems to be like an exodus, ladies and gentlemen.
I am right there. Believe me.
I'm telling you, get out of California, and I'm on the radio in California. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I mean, I would live somewhere like Santa Cruz, where we're on the radio, if they didn't arrest surfers who get too close to whales. I talk to locals. I mean, it's just all about getting us in the system. Man, what is wrong with the Connecticut police up there?
It's not every Connecticut police. But
doesn't matter, though. They still follow. It wasn't every Nazi officer either.
Right. But this town, I've heard that has got a lot of corruption in this town. I've talked to other people that this similar thing has happened to. So, by going public here, it reached a lot of people that I would not necessarily have reached before,
Well, here's the deal. Anybody that wants the Bill of Rights and Constitution, is welcome here. Dave Mustaine was asking, am I welcome to come to Texas? Because I know people don't like Californians around here. It's not that we don't like Californians. They come here and walk up in the grocery store and say, you shouldn't have 3 kids. And they're not Californians. They're Soviet globalist eugenicists cult members. And I'm like, you've already wrecked your other beautiful state. Now you're here telling me my truck's too big. Leave me alone. So there it is. In Madison, Connecticut, a sprawling exercise in police corruption. Even the New York Times says you're incredibly corrupt where you live.
Naugatuck, Connecticut.
No, I know, but this is a nearby area, yeah. So what's going on there?
What's going on? Where? With what?
I mean, why is it so corrupt? I guess the mafia, like Snoop Dogg, wants everybody's guns. He's an admitted, I guess criminals of every type. And that makes sense. Want good people's guns. Of course they do.
Yeah, I think this is a campaign going across the country. I've heard from a lot of veterans, and they are telling me horror stories, very similar to mine. including Brandon Robb. I haven't heard from him, but, you know, that was a shocking story. So, you know, he was held for much longer than I was, and that must have been terrifying, because that was the most terrifying aspect of the whole thing.
All right, Bud, let's come back and talk about any other points you want to make, and I can open the phones up right now, folks. Unlimited veterans will call in, having their guns jerked.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
In the last 2 years alone, the U.S. has seen huge losses to our food supply. In 2011, storms and floods raged across the U.S., costing us $20 billion in lost crops alone. In 2012, we saw the largest drought in the country in more than 50 years. You may think out of sight, out of mind, and so you don't think you will be affected. The fact is you are. We all are. Food shortages drive prices up for everyone. You might not be able to control Mother Nature, but you can control your food prices by freezing the cost and availability of your food supply with eFoods Direct. Be prepared before you need it. With nutrient-dense food you can store for up to 25 years. You can hope for the best, but hope won't feed you. Do what I've done and get your own supply of the best storable foods out there from eFoods Direct. Call 800-409-5633 or visit them on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex and check out their spring specials. Again, that number is 800-409-5633 or on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
Now that we have moved into the winter season, there is an increased need to support our immunity and health. At Silver Lungs, we are committed to meeting your needs by providing a full selection of silver-based products. Our most popular silver-based products are the 32-ounce Nano Silver Solutions, our 2-ounce Nano Silver Nasal Applicators, as well as our all-natural silver soaps. Just released is our 100% natural silver gel. Our new silver gel is not based on synthetic gelling agents, which quickly evaporate and leave the silver at the surface. But rather, we have formulated our silver gel using the natural skin-nourishing chemistry of aloe vera to quickly penetrate and nourish the skin, while delivering the silver more effectively. Visit www.silverlungs.com and click on our store page to find what silver-based products are best for you. That's www.silverlungs.com.
Devastating events like earthquakes, tornadoes, floods, hurricanes, or the threat of martial law have highlighted the need for Americans to prepare for emergencies. As a result, millions are stockpiling food, gold, and weapons. But how will these items help if you or one of your loved ones becomes ill? Supernatural Silver is the ultimate tool to prepare you for a medical emergency. Supernatural Silver is a natural antibiotic that is uniquely effective against bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus, and is remarkable for wound care. Taken internally or used topically, it can help keep you safe from deadly pathogens. Supernatural Silver has over 500 different uses and a long-term shelf life, making it the #1 choice of preppers across the country. To find out how this amazing new technology can help you be prepared, go to supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PREPARED for 20% off your entire order, and like us on Facebook.
There's a need for a new world order, but it has different characteristics in different parts of the world.
Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
All right, we're going back to David Schmecker here in just a moment. And then I'm going to get into a very interesting piece of news that ties into how the establishment media tries to take stories that expose world government that are out in the open and provable and verifiable and mix it in with things that can't be proven one way or the other. That's basically sci-fi to discredit the whole thing. So we're going to be talking about that in a moment. By the way, the new InfoWars magazine is out for April. We will send a free version out on Friday during the show to everyone that's signed up for our news alerts. We only send out the most important information a couple times a week at Infowars.com/newsletter. Infowars.com/newsletter. Just go put your email in there and we will send you a free digital copy of InfoWars magazine with all the amazing graphics. You can click on the links and more. But to wake people up, we print 120,000 now of the glossy, full color, it's the size of the old Rolling Stone, high-res magazine, and this is exposing the hoax that they aren't buying 2 billion bullets when they are, that Homeland Security isn't gearing up for war against conservatives and veterans and libertarians. This is a very, very important issue. You can buy them in bulk at cost in groups of 10 up to 100 to really wake people up. It's like getting a big color book for very, very expensive, very, very inexpensive. I mean, normally this would be very expensive, like $7 on a magazine rack. You can buy these in bulk for less than $1. So that's the type of things that we have available right now at InfoWarsStore.com. It's all designed to wake people up, welcome the Planet Hoax and the war on reality. And to support the broadcast, we have great water filters like ProPure, the highest quality gravity-fed system out there. It's what I use at the lowest price out there with promo code WATER at InfoWarsStore.com. Also, you can get 11 memberships to watch the InfoWars Nightly News and to see the video of the daytime radio show that's live right now, InfoWars Live. My book, Paul Watson's book, all of my expanded films, HD extras, special reports, on-the-road information, prisonplanet.tv. It is less than 55 cents a month per person. You get 11 memberships for $5.95. You get a master membership, and you can share it with up to 10 of your friends simultaneously. All right there at InfoWarsNews.com or PrisonPlanet.tv. Takes about a minute to sign up. It's Operation Awaken the Sleeping Giant. Imagine, we've had times when we've had special events like election coverage or other events where we've had 300,000+ people tune in a day and a half to PrisonPlanet.tv. And, I mean, that's more than MSNBC or CNN has watching on their average show on a subscription service. Obviously, we don't have 300,000 real subscribers. If we did, oh, my gosh, we'd have the funds to really go crazy against the globalists. But because we've got people sharing their passcode, we do. So, again, everybody share that passcode. Create a passcode that you can share, that's unique to PrisonPlanet.tv, and then send it in an email or send it in a e-card saying, hey, here's your gift subscription to PrisonPlanet.tv. By the way, I'm always going over here to hit my cough button because the cough button's on the floor. Will you guys have one of the IT guys mount the cough button under me right here? Because every time I do that, it's just not ergonomic. It's like way over there. I just want to put the cough button right here. People are like, what are you looking at over there? I'm hitting the button over here so I can cough. Look, I start hyperventilating and getting very, very upset when it's dawning on me that they said they'd flip Homeland Security on veterans and conservatives and libertarians and patriots and Ron Paulites and Alex Jones listeners, and I knew it was coming and people couldn't believe it. Now they're doing it, and every veteran I know has gotten a letter saying, come in and we may take your guns when you're here. And if you don't show up, they take your guns. And when you get there, it's an adversarial criminal outside of law, extrajudicially, because usually you used to have to have a judge with psychiatrists show their proof and then publicly try to commit you. And they'd have to have a lot of evidence. Now it's Soviet Union where every veteran in America, that's 10 million people plus living. In fact, give me a document cam shot right over here. I want to show people this, and we're going back to our guest. I actually have the article by Kurt Nimmo, Federal Government Moves to Disarm Veterans. And I've got the letter right here. It says a determination of incompetency will prohibit you from purchasing, possessing, receiving, or transporting firearms ammunition. If you knowingly violate any of these prohibitions, you may be fired, imprisoned, or both, or fined, imprisoned, or both, pursuant to the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act, publication L number 103-159, as implemented at 18 U.S. Code 924A2, which they can just implement any way they want. And they're claiming now, under law, a psychiatrist says, you didn't come into this meeting. You're like a slave. This isn't in law. It's in law that you've been adjudicated mentally ill by a court, which is still fraudulent. Now they're just saying they will say, and your gun is gone. And I know veterans who I talk to, and they go, is it really true? And then they go to the meeting, they go, oh, my God. They said the determination will come down in the next week. Don't get rid of my guns. There may be a police visit. And the people laugh at them. They try to make you mad. I mean, this is Twilight Zone level, folks. They're trying to start a civil war. They're trying to push veterans into a shooting war that is just going to chew the police up. The globalists will sit offshore laughing. They want to cover the implosion of the economy with a civil war they engineer. Now, I want to go back to our guest and then give him the floor for about 10 minutes to make his points about how the cops treated him, what happened, the fact that he didn't agree to this. He wanted to be clear when I was talking to him during the break. What's happening to other veterans he knows. I mean, and then we've got every nutcase like Jim Carrey and criminals like Snoop Dogg saying, turn our guns in. I mean, this is so hellish to go into bondage, ladies and gentlemen. It's so sad. And I know history. I know this is red alert level, and it's happening with a whimper, not a bang. It's just like, well, I hear them on talk radio. Well, I know veterans that are like, well, I'll turn my guns in if they say. And I'm like, you have no criminal record. You own a business. You're married. You've done nothing wrong. You're a pillar in the community, and you're going to let them as a group say you're bad. Yes, I am. Well, you know the people. And folks, they're gonna take our bank accounts too. I mean, if they can take your guns for no reason, they're going to take all your money. That's what this is about. They're going to shut everything down. They're going to double, triple charge you for power. And they're going to have Glenn Beck get up there and say, I'm a dangerous fascist because I say they're buying billions of bullets and armored vehicles when it's even in the news confirmed. He's back at it saying there's no New World Order in Bilderberg Group. And I'm just, heaven help us if we can't even get Glenn Beck to talk about this stuff. And by the grace of God, am I even still alive right now? By the grace of God, am I even still alive right now with all of this happening and going on? Please pray for this broadcast. Please financially support us. Buy the books, the videos, support our sponsors, spread the word about us. And I want to thank all of our media friends out there that love liberty as well that help get the word out. And you know who you are. This is so real. And again, that's how tyranny works. It pushes, it pushes, it pushes when it's incremental. People make excuses. People are in denial. And then as it gets really bad, they make bigger and bigger denials, bigger and bigger compromises until you get to the point where the government says Homeland Security is for conservatives, libertarians, and veterans. And a bunch of conservatives and libertarians are now getting so scared. You hear them everywhere going, I guess we'll turn our guns in. I guess we'll have open borders. I guess we'll raise taxes. Okay, I'll go along with it. You're seeing people you never thought who would fight back standing up and telling the truth. And you're seeing people who you thought were good showing their operatives right now. And I mean, this is it. Okay, so let's go to the victim who had his guns taken, David Schmecker. No judge, no jury, no nothing. And they're telling him if he ever has guns again, it's a felony. And again, this is all happening to veterans right now with no media coverage. No, well, I mean, you see it in Bloomberg about, police confiscating guns in California. It's where they've got cops that'll do it. And they're just showing up and taking your guns. I mean, they're pulling up at $10 million houses, people with successful. And the point is, if they'll go after rich people, folks, they'll go after everybody. In fact, show that Bloomberg gun confiscation article. They're very excited about that. Let's go back to David Schmecker. David, you've got the floor. Break down what's happened to you.
Well, basically, that's what they're doing, Alex. They're coming into your house, and they're taking your guns. I don't keep my guns in a bank. You know what I mean? I have a safe. I keep my guns in a nice safe in my house. But
what did the cops do? Describe it.
Well, they basically very, very intimidating. They were very, very intimidating. Both of them had guns. I had zero. I had no weapons on me, no witnesses. I was telling them, hey, everything's fine. I even went down to the police station prior. See, they came to my house when I was at home. I looked on my caller ID, saw that the police had called. I told them, I'll come down and show you everything's fine. I went down to the police station. I waited in the lobby. No one came out to meet me. So I returned home, called them and said, listen, I was just down there. No one came out into the lobby. They said, yeah, we still want to perform a wellness check. So that's when they came up to my, basically to my street. I was waiting at the end of my street for them. They went
Notice kidnapping you is called a wellness check. The Patriot Act, spying on you without warrants, is called the Patriot Act. Drugging half the school children is called New Freedom Initiative. Notice all this evil has Orwellian names. Go ahead.
Well, that's what they did. They accommodated. They wouldn't let me in my vehicle. I was going to go in my vehicle and say, okay, everything's fine. I'll see you later. They would not even hear anything like that. They didn't even hear anything I had to say. This was already predetermined. They were going to do what they were going to do no matter what.
And tell people the name of the town. Tell people the town you live in.
I live in Naugatuck, Connecticut.
Continue.
They were going to do whatever they were going to do regardless. Unless maybe if I had some witnesses around me, it might have gone a little different, but I was a soft target. And they knew that. This was all pre-planned.
No, it's all criminal. It's a criminal conspiracy hiding in plain view. It has a name. It's called Tyrannus. California seizes guns of owners lose right to keep arms. And then it just goes to say, they go in, you see a medical doctor, you name it, you say you have a fight with your wife, your guns are gone. When the doctor's like, how's your life going, Bob? Oh, it's going good. You know, my wife's been throwing fits and stuff. Oh, your guns are all gone. Again, the whole state, the whole system are spies. Continue. What'd they do in your house?
Oh, they came into my house. 2 police officers came into my house, rifled through each room, looking underneath things and between items and everything like that, looking for some kind of contraband they could get me on. Then they told me that I needed to hand over the guns I had in my house. I told them they were in my safe. They said, well, let us in your safe. We're going to take them. I said, my safe is locked. They said, well, you must open it or we're going to bust it open. And
I would have said, go ahead and break it open, criminals. You're giving me unlawful orders.
Yeah, I told them all the way there. Every second of the way, I was not going along with it willingly. I was telling them, this is all totally against the law. You don't have a warrant to do this. There's no due process. I don't even know where you're coming from. How can you possibly imagine you could get away with this? And they weren't even afraid.
And again, notice they worship veterans on TV everywhere while they're attacking you. See, that's how PSYOPs work. Veterans are God. Veterans are the king. Join the military so we can guinea pig you and put DU on you. And then take your rights away after you've been in the military. And again, it's not military doing the mass shootings either. They're literally saying a group of people is bad, but it's not the Jews like Nazi Germany. It's the veterans. And the cops love going after veterans now. Unbelievable. Keep going.
So I opened the safe for them, and they took my stuff. They thanked me for being such a trooper for making their job so
that's
easy.
a PSYOP. That's like, thanking somebody you put in a ditch in Nazi Germany. Thank you for... I saw the Nazi Germany film reels. The people would nod and bow politely to the Nazis, and they would politely, thank you. Get in there with your kids. I'm going to mow you down. Thanks for being such a sport about this. Keep going.
Yeah, wait till they take your guns away from you. As soon as society has their guns forcefully taken away, piece by piece, person by person, they whittle away. In 1 hour, they're going to go after your money.
Oh, that's already started. Oh, they've already announced in congressional hearings they're taking the pension funds for safekeeping, though. Safekeeping, David. And I love how it goes to like mega banker gangsters. Private people are getting the Europeans' money they're looting. How's that sound?
Yeah. Well, I'm fighting this in, I have a great attorney team, a private investigator and an attorney team, and they are gun rights champions.
Tell us about them. Tell us about them.
Well, they're probably the best attorneys I could have possibly found. One of them is an NRA instructor, and he's a gun rights attorney.
Yeah, you need to sue the cops personally for official oppression. They violated all sorts of stuff. I don't care if they were given orders. You need to savage them with civil rights lawsuits, everything.
That's going to happen. I'm not stopping until I see...
Hey, everyone needs to sue them. We need to get aggressive. They are kidnapping veterans outside of law. I don't care if they're a criminal gang and their mob boss told them to do it. It doesn't make it okay because Don Corleone told you so, just because he's wearing a blue uniform.
Right. But first, what I have to do is I have to pursue getting my guns back and my pistol permit reinstated. Once that's, because this is going to it's going to happen because they didn't have a warrant. Everything was warrantless. Everything was going to be, null and void.
And you have to have them refuse to do that first.
Right.
And then they're going to refuse to do that. They're going to violate more of the law.
Right. I mean, this
Oh, there's the headline. U.S. taps pension funds to avoid passing debt limit. Folks, your pensions are already gone. That's the good part. All these cops, your whole future's destroyed, and you did it. We don't have to do anything.
I know. That's the funny part. It's not funny, but...
Oh, it is. It's good. Hey, cops, give your kids some more vaccines. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying they're doing it to themselves. I mean...
Oh, they will.
Yeah, they're doing it to themselves. I mean, everything they do to us, it's just going to be... They're next.
They love it. They love it. They're in charge now. Anyways, what do you make of all the TV shows demonizing veterans, both news and the dramas? The veteran is the worst person on earth now.
I don't watch TV. I'm sorry.
But I mean, have you heard about Homeland Security saying veterans are the new Al-Qaeda?
You know, I don't watch the mainstream media.
What do you think about Homeland Security buying billions of bullets?
Oh, I know about that. That's a scary thing. I mean, I'll tell you what. I walk through my town my whole life. I'm 50 years old. I've never seen a terrorist in my town. You know?
By the way, we looked you up. You have no criminal record, honorably discharged from the Navy, business guy, great guy in the community. That's why they hate you. You understand? If you were a criminal, you'd be fine.
I know.
What are the other veterans you know saying about this?
Oh, they want to help me and try to band together.
Yeah, you need to remove that city council and fire that police chief. You need to start a recall of the police chief. Okay, that's how you get aggressive. Okay? You need to follow the police, show them with hookers. It's called politically destroying them.
In the last 2 years alone, the U.S. has seen huge losses to our food supply. In 2011, storms and floods raged across the U.S., costing us $20 billion in lost crops alone. In 2012, we saw the largest drought in the country in more than 50 years. You may think out of sight, out of mind, and so you don't think you will be affected. The fact is you are. We all are. Food shortages drive prices up for everyone. You might not be able to control Mother Nature, but you can control your food prices by freezing the cost and availability of your food supply with eFoods Direct. Be prepared before you need it. With nutrient-dense food you can store for up to 25 years. You can hope for the best, but hope won't feed you. Do what I've done and get your own supply of the best storable foods out there from eFoods Direct. Call 800-409-5633 or visit them on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex and check out their spring specials. Again, that number is 800-409-5633 or on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
Devastating events like earthquakes, tornadoes, floods, hurricanes, or the threat of martial law have highlighted the need for Americans to prepare for emergencies. As a result, millions are stockpiling food, gold, and weapons. But how will these items help if you or one of your loved ones becomes ill? Supernatural Silver is the ultimate tool to prepare you for a medical emergency. Supernatural Silver is a natural antibiotic that is uniquely effective against bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus, and is remarkable for wound care. Taken internally or used topically, it can help keep you safe from deadly pathogens. Supernatural Silver has over 500 different uses and a long-term shelf life, making it the #1 choice of preppers across the country. To find out how this amazing new technology can help you be prepared, go to supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PREPARED for 20% off your entire order and like us on Facebook.
We've lived in this neighborhood for years. We have an alarm system and all of our doors have deadbolts. They kicked in our door and were in and out of our house in about 5 minutes. The police arrived in about 20 minutes, but they were long gone with our TV, jewelry, and my guns. I kept thinking, what if my family had been home? The police officer said that more than 85% of break-ins are through a door, and that deadbolts alone don't stop intruders. The officer told me to go to EasyArmor.net if we wanted something that would actually stop an intruder. Easy Armor reinforces all of the weak points on your doors and is guaranteed to prevent kick-ins. I was surprised at how little Easy Armor costs, and I installed Easy Armor in about 30 minutes.
Visit EasyArmor.net. That's the letters EasyArmor.net or call 888-58-ARMOR. That's 888-582-7667. EasyArmor.net. Ultimate door security made easy.
Don't worry. This show is documented. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
By the way, when the Mexican drug cartel started killing cops, they all just hid, and Mexico completely collapsed because they were already mafia. And It's the same thing here in the U.S. Clearly, I think the evidence points towards Mexican mafia going around killing prosecutors, assistant prosecutors in Colorado, Texas. One prosecutor in Denver just took out somebody trying to kill him in his house, and they won't say who, so that means it's politically correct, probably. They want to keep the implosion going. But we'll see what comes out on that front. The issue is in Dallas and surrounding areas, they are in a fortress mentality like the mob bosses with police all around them. That's not going to protect you. And it just shows once the Civil War starts, I mean, the police are just going to be just absolutely smashed and crushed. And all these fake tough guys, you know, they're giant potbellies and the rest of it. I got a tiny one myself. I'm just saying, all you guys that are Mr. Tough Guy looking for trouble, who don't like veterans and conservatives, libertarians, I know most of you aren't bad. I get that. That's why most departments won't be part of this. But all these departments that do enjoy it, I mean, you might as well just go jump off a cliff. You're crazy. Because the globalists, in all their scripting, want to start a civil war. You heard it here first. Now it's mainstream news. They want to push a fight between police and military and veterans. And, I mean, when you really get real veterans to start pulling guns out, I mean, whoa. I mean, it's going to make the Mexican mafia look like child's play. And, I mean, dead cops are going to be stacked like cordwood. And a couple cops and prosecutors get killed, they run to ground. Okay? The entire U.S. military couldn't hold Baghdad. You're not going to hold the United States. But that's part of the plan. They're going to let the U.S. just break down, fall into anarchy, shut down for a while. Then people will beg for the feds to come back in. And they're going to stage atrocities and blame it on veterans. I know their game plan. Okay, that's the whole game plan. That's what the conditioning's for right now, to try to get the people on their side when they bring in the multinational force, which includes Russians, Chinese, you name it. And this all sounds crazy, except it's in the Denver Post. It's in the Associated Press. There's the headline. Gun rights advocates fear UN treaty will lead to U.S. registry. This is the real globalist takeover plan that the Weathermen planned. Bring America down, get a communist president in, arrest all libertarians and conservatives, put 50 million of us in re-education camps. During a civil war, they plan on controlling the cities, and then they may take a decade to go out into the rural areas and hunt us all down. That's what happens in World War Z in the book. The UN hunts down American gun owners and kills us all, and the zombies are their friends. I'm not making that up. That's actually the book. I did a review of it. And they say, thank God the zombies took out American gun owners, and the UN takes us down. I mean, this is real, folks. I mean, this is every movie, every sitcom, every drama. And I want to open the next 30 minutes up to veterans who've had their guns taken or have been at these brainwashing checks, these gun confiscation, PSYOP, kidnapping events they call wellness checks. And the toll-free number to join us is 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. David Schmecker, we go to break here in just a moment. I'm going to keep you 5 more minutes, but we'll follow your case. And your email's up on screen for people that want to contact you. You were saying you wanted your email out. I mean, are you wanting people's support, or do you want people to contact you?
Yes, they can contact me, and, I'm not going to turn away any support, but, it's not my message. My message, it has to be in context. This is to get the alarm out.
No, I think people should flood you with money, and I'm sure your lawyers are great, but, I mean, we got lawyers and no lawyers that playing games is they hit them with civil rights suits, federal suits, injunctions, state court, federal court. I'd launch maybe 15 lawsuits on them. And believe me, those torpedoes are going to hit. So it's like they charge you with a bunch of stuff. You've got real charges on them. Just wreck them hard. Okay, ahead of Civil War, we better get them back in their place real quick. Stay there. I want to hear from you. We'll give your email address out for everybody as well. All right? They are now kidnapping veterans and taking their guns.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
You prepare by purchasing gold, food, and firearms. But if you don't have a home security system, then you're missing a critical weapon in your arsenal for home protection. When you're sleeping or away from home, who's watching out for intruders? Check out SimpliSafe. It's a new do-it-yourself home security system that is completely wireless. Go to GetSimpliSafe.com. Simply Safe is independent and off the grid. It runs on battery power, so even if the grid goes down, you're protected. It's completely customizable, so you can use it in your home, business, boat, trailer, storage unit, or shed. Get SimplySafe.com. Simply Safe is also ridiculously easy to install yourself in under 20 minutes, so there's no need to let a stranger into your home. If you move or need to relocate, you can take the system with you wherever you go. You aren't always at home, but Simply Safe will stand guard, protecting your property 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Again, that's GetSimplySafe.com.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
I just had a total epiphany during that 1-minute break. I'm going to talk about it when we come back from break and take veterans' phone calls who have had their guns taken for no reason, or they're trying to take your guns. You're getting this wellness check. They have a footnote of it's going to be about your guns. And, I mean, they're taking famous people's guns I know that are veterans who don't want to come on air. Or you go in to try to buy a gun and you can't buy a gun now. And it's a criminal takeover. I mean, the epiphany is we're in a civil war. Well, I just had this total epiphany. I've been so close to the problem. The globalists are already in a foreign takeover. Schmecker had to go to the bathroom. He's coming back. David Schmecker, honorably discharged, disabled U.S. Navy veteran from Connecticut. He had a back problem, so they took his guns. No criminal record and no psychiatric history. And it's not like you think you're, you know, St. Jerome, or you think you're George Washington, or you think you're the Easter Bunny, and you're running around saying you're going to kill people, and you're clearly schizophrenic, and then there could be adjudication, and you're put in a mental hospital. The problem is they'll use that against everybody, so it's better to have nuts out there with guns because it's going to take everybody's guns. It's like, hey, I say get rid of the 68 Gun Control Act and let felons have guns. They're going to have them anyways. Snoop Dogg's going to have guns and people while he calls for our guns to be taken. That article now up at Infowars.com. Gun criminal Snoop Dogg releases anti-gun song. We're going to talk to vets that are having their guns taken or being harassed. 800-259-9231. And David Schmecker's been with us. I've been ranting and raving. I mean, this really gets to me. I'll get into the PSYOP they're running on the Liberty Movement at the bottom of the hour after I take some calls. But did Schmecker ever come back? Oh, he did. Great. Thank you. Okay, David, we only got a minute or two left. Any other points you'd like to add to this saga? We'll obviously check back in with you, and you want to give out your email address verbally for radio listeners, that'd be good.
Sure. My email address is diamondzNrust@att.net. I have an interview this afternoon with Citizens Civil Liberty Union International. They are up in arms about how this crime is being committed against people, forced psych evals without any due process, to take their rights away. So I've also had an interview with We Are Change Connecticut, and George for Title has been a wonderful help getting the word out. And Alex, a woman Frida said hello.
Well, that's great. Yeah, there are so many wonderful liberty lovers out there that are, really came out of this show that I'm so honored to be associated with. And these are the times that try men's souls. And we need to stand with you. Folks need to stand with us because, folks, the globalists have my phones tapped. They follow me. They know they've got my juvenile records. They know who I am. They know I'm for real. And they don't want to kill me because it'll turn me into a martyr, but they're trying to kill my name right now in the media. And so I need people's support as well. I mean, this is serious. And I just had a huge epiphany that we're already in a civil war. We've got authoritarians that have hijacked Washington, waging war against the Bill of Rights, the people, veterans, and the states. and demonizing us everywhere ahead of a big offensive. Do you agree with that statement?
Absolutely.
David, when you were in the Navy for 5 years, did you ever imagine this would happen in America with Soviet-style secret police, psych ward police coming after you?
Never, never, never. I thought I lived in a free country. This is really scared the bejesus out of me.
We just got another Ghostbusters quote there in one segment. That is good luck. All right, sir, we'll talk to you soon. And people, we tend to be restrained about civil rights violations. If you don't get really aggressive and get those cops out of there and get that police chief out of there, they're going to win, okay? If they can get our guns, they're going to take our bank accounts. Oh, by the way, they're taking veterans' kids that are disabled now. God bless you, David. Your calls are coming up.
In the last 2 years alone, the U.S. has seen huge losses to our food supply. In 2011, storms and floods raged across the U.S., costing us $20 billion in lost crops alone. In 2012, we saw the largest drought in the country in more than 50 years. You may think out of sight, out of mind, and so you don't think you will be affected. The fact is you are. We all are. Food shortages drive prices up for everyone. You might not be able to control Mother Nature, but you can control your food prices by freezing the cost and availability of your food supply with eFoods Direct. Be prepared before you need it. With nutrient-dense food you can store for up to 25 years. You can hope for the best, but hope won't feed you. Do what I've done and get your own supply of the best storable foods out there from eFoods Direct. Call 800-409-5633 or visit them on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex and check out their spring specials. Again, that number is 800-409-5633 or on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
If you want an American company with American products made by Americans, here is the Cal Ben Soap Company. Alex and his staff have used these pure soap products for years. These all-natural soaps are made from the highest quality vegetable and coconut oils that are earth-friendly and safe. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog. Buy the 1 to 2 month sample package and enjoy soaps that are twice as good as what you're using now. Or save big with a 1 to 2 year supply of soaps for all your cleaning needs. This is an amazing deal. You can save thousands of dollars and you will love the way real soap makes you feel. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog.
Devastating events like earthquakes, tornadoes, floods, hurricanes, or the threat of martial law have highlighted the need for Americans to prepare for emergencies. As a result, millions are stockpiling food, gold, and weapons. But how will these items help if you or one of your loved ones becomes ill? Supernatural Silver is the ultimate tool to prepare you for a medical emergency. Supernatural Silver is a natural antibiotic that is uniquely effective against bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus, and is remarkable for wound care. Taken internally or used topically, it can help keep you safe from deadly pathogens. Supernatural Silver has over 500 different uses and a long-term shelf life, making it the #1 choice of preppers across the country. To find out how this amazing new technology can help you be prepared, go to supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PREPARED for 20% off your entire order and like us on Facebook.
We are on the march. The empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
He rode a blazing saddle. He wore a shining star. His job to offer battle to bad men near and far. He conquered fear and he conquered hate. He turned dark night into day. He made his blazing saddle a torch to light the way.
Ladies and gentlemen,
when outlaws rule the West,
are you going to stand up against the bad guys today?
filled the land.
Are you going to resist them?
I went up for a man.
Or are you going to lay down and let them take over? Because make no mistake, the tyranny and the lawlessness of government, it's called tyranny, is now taking place right now. And obviously this broadcast is going to explode and spread as everything we've talked about, unfortunately, comes true. And as our credibility rises, like a rocket, the danger increases. And you've noticed I've doubled and tripled down with the rhetoric to match the reality. I'm not going to hold back here. As we enter the danger zone here at Infowars.com, I am doubling and redoubling efforts. I am pedal to the metal, committed, and I put my life in the hands of God. Commit my soul. And you should commit your soul as well, because rolling over to the tyranny that's taking place is going to destroy us. Strange days have found us, my friends. And if we don't stand up and speak out, we're going to lose. Now, I had a mega, massive epiphany during the last break. But first, I want to give you the definition of tyranny. Oppressive power, every form of tyranny over the mind of man, Thomas Jefferson. The tyranny of a police state, a government in which absolute power is vested in a single ruler, especially one charismatic or an ancient Greek city-state. Absolutely. A government in which absolute power is vested in a single ruler, especially one charismatic, one characteristic of an ancient Greek city-state. The office, authority, and administration of a tyrant. The rigorous condition imposed by some outside agency or force living under the tyranny of the clock. An oppressive, harsh, or unjust act is a tyrannical act. And it goes on from there. The refugees were fleeing tyranny. He was dedicated to ending the tyranny of slavery. A nation ruled by tyranny. She felt lost in the bureaucratic tyrannies of the university system. The king sought an absolute tyranny over the colonies. Cars freed Americans already infamous for their mobility from the tyranny of train schedules. Tyranny, tyranny, tyranny. Autocratic, centralized. But I just had a total epiphany, a mega massive epiphany during the break. If you just joined us, I had a veteran on, no criminal record. The police came with no warrant, no judicial order, no nothing, because the VA said he wouldn't come in for a psychiatric evaluation when he's never had a psychiatric determination in the VA. I mean, this is totally outside of law. They take his gun, David Schmecker, in Connecticut. This is happening all over the country. They're mailing these out. I've got veterans loaded up on the phones right now. This is the purge. You hear about the communists going after people that weren't communist in China or Russia. You hear about the Nazis going after Jews. People put up with that group, which was unpopular. Then it was everybody. The group that Homeland Security says is number one is veterans, then libertarians, conservatives. This is outrageous. And it hit me like a megaton of bricks. It hit me so hard during the break that they're not trying to start a civil war. We're in a civil war. We're in a civil war where the federal government's been taken over by foreign banks. They're signing us on to $85 billion of debt a month, giving it to foreign known mobster, actual gangsters. The ones sucking the bank accounts dry in Europe. They now admit it was a test and that they're going to take everybody's bank accounts. They're now saying they're going to take our bank accounts and our pensions. Congress is having hearings on it. They're going to do it. Why shouldn't they? Because people are so afraid. And they know that when they go and start confiscating the guns, they're doing it in a test right now. Every veteran I know has gotten the letter, and they're going and they're being told, so do you ever feel down? Do you ever get upset? And the people are smart and go, no, I don't. And they go, I don't believe you. I'm ordering your guns taken. No judge, no jury. There's no way to win. If you say, well, of course I get upset sometimes. Oh, you're mentally ill. There's AP, U.S. TAPS pension fund to avoid passing debt limit. I mean, it's all going to happen. They're going to destroy us. I can hardly breathe right now. This is so incredible. I never have anxiety, and I'm having it right now. Maybe my gun should be taken. Ladies and gentlemen, this is so real, and it just hit me. I've been so close to the problem that we're in the Civil War now. Every TV show, drama, nonfiction, fiction, sitcoms, cop movies, you name it. Every single show that is out there, every single broadcast that is out there says the gun owners are terrorists about to kill you. It's not real, but it doesn't matter. The globalists are going to stage events and push people into events and then call us the terrorist. Reality has been suspended. And this is cultural takeover. A crusade, a jihad, an offensive, a blitzkrieg, call it what you will. If they can go after veterans and say, oh, by the way, Homeland Security is for veterans, not for Al-Qaeda now. By the way, Al-Qaeda are the good guys. That's in the news again today. The rebranding, they can do anything. We have the biggest prison population in the world. We have the highest death rate of cancer in the world. We have the lowest IQs in the industrialized world. We're not just uneducated. We're getting dumb. We're poisoned. We're in a giant globalist civil war where they are destroying the final vestiges of the Bill of Rights and Constitution right now. And this is a war. People are saying, this is crazy. How are they doing this? It's a takeover. They've already taken Europe over. And listen, police departments, everybody. I know you've been given the word, join the New World Order or be destroyed. I know the Austin police chief has been told, join with the feds or be removed. He was always a federal minion since California days. I mean, you're really watching a real takeover with collaborators of America. I mean, this is real. And the fact that I can't even get how bad it is, and I'm saying they want to start a civil war, we're in a civil cultural war. And now it's a physical war where they're coming and grabbing veterans everywhere, criminally, outside of due process, and taking their guns. I mean, my goodness gracious. Now, I said I'd talk to veterans who are having their guns taken or have news on it. And I want to go over this, but you've got to realize the magnitude. You've got to really let this hit you and let it really sink in, ladies and gentlemen, that we're already in a civil war. And we're the Americans. We are those that support the Republic. The globalists have their agents, their minions, their collaborators, and they are overthrowing us. They are the revolutionaries. And they are going after the veterans. Of course they are, who statistically have one of the lowest crime rates out there. They know that. I mean, my goodness, and no one's standing up for them. I talk to the average good old boy, and they go, Alex, everybody loves the veterans. Watch a basketball game. They cut to them all and thank them. That's active duty. They want to get you in the slaughterhouse, shoot you up with the drugs, put you on DU, steal your pension fund, which they've already done, steal everything, and then come take your guns afterward. Unless you're one of their little special guys that said they'd confiscate guns, then you're made a cop. I mean, this is folks, this is going to be explosive. And it's just now dawning on me how real it is. I mean, I've known it was theoretical, that was their plan, but they really plan on doing it. They really staged Fast and Furious. They really staged Oklahoma City. And here's the headlines, and I'm going to your calls. Gun criminal Snoop Dogg releases anti-gun song. Islamic cleric issues fatwa permitting rape of Syrian women. Our government put Al-Qaeda in, chopping Christians' heads off, making them suicide bomb, and now mass raping. And our media says it's good. I mean, okay, because Al-Qaeda is good now. It's veterans that are bad. IMF urges economic death blow with gasoline carbon tax. Global elite preparing new Korean war to coincide with economic implosion. Poll, almost 1/3 of Americans believe in New World Order. I'm going to get to that. It's way over that. A surprising number of Americans believe in conspiracy theories. Look how even our own people write headlines that go along with that. Conspiracy theories, you mean fact? DHS excused for buying billions of rounds of ammo. Exposes yet another lie. 1/3 of West Coast children hit with thyroid problems. I mean, folks, oh my gosh, let's just go to a phone call. Toll-free number to join us, 800-259-9331. Chris, Ron, Jesse, Sergeant Freedom. We're going to get to all of you. Chris, we're going to break here in a minute and a half, but tell us your story, Chris.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hoorah, well, glad to be on the air today. I wanted to tell you a story about when I'm former military, former U.S. Navy, served aboard USS Nassau. Subsequently, after I got out, I went to go get a pistol permit. And I was depressed for a little bit. Me and my wife, we was going through some problems, so I had went and saw a doctor about that, and then subsequently, we worked everything out. However, when I went to go get my pistol permit, the officer that was vetting me, apparently because I wasn't adjudicated defective, that is the only way by law that they can seize your firearms is if you're adjudicated defective by a judge in a court of law.
That's right.
Well, since he couldn't see that, he kept asking me, what happened here, what happened there, and I refused to tell him, and ultimately he had to go ahead and sign off on my pistol.
Exactly,
permit.
and that was still color of law and fraudulent, but not completely criminal. What they're doing with veterans with no proof, no nothing, no adjudication, coming and taking your guns is a kidnapping. They should all be arrested, according to my understanding of the law. I'm going to come back to you. You're absolutely right with what you said.
Nothing is more American than Diamond Gusset jeans. 100% American-made since 1987. Soft and broken in from the start, yet more rugged and durable than any jean you've ever worn. Have you ever experienced missized jeans from China? Well, you won't with Diamond Gusset. Every pair is crafted to fit exactly the same and always feel like they were custom made. Need a 35, 37, or 39 waist? How about a 31 inseam? We keep all sizes in stock for the fit you need. Looking for a relaxed fit, slim fit, regular fit, boot cut, or straight leg? We got you covered. Buy the world's best fitting jeans at Gusset.com or call 1-888-8-GUSSET. Get free Gusset targets for the next time you go to the shooting range with the purchase of their new Ranger jean. Use code COMFORT when ordering to receive free shipping on all Gusset orders at Gusset.com. That's Gusset.com to get only the best all-American jeans.
Digestive health is the key to wellness and elimination of toxins. That bears repeating. Digestive health is the key to wellness and elimination of toxins. And Pro-EM1 Daily Probiotic Cleanse is the key to digestive health. Pro-EM1 is a powerful liquid probiotic, strong enough to cleanse, gentle enough to use every day. Pro-EM1 is dairy, wheat, and soy-free, contains all natural and certified organic ingredients, contains no preservatives or animal products, supports a healthy digestive and immune system, supports weight loss, improves absorption of food nutrients, aids in controlling yeast infections, is never freeze-dried, and uses 3 groups of live, viable, beneficial microbes to cleanse and remove toxins. Order Pro-EM1 Daily Probiotic Cleanse at Teraganix.com, spelled Teraganix.com, Teraganix.com. Or call toll-free 866-369-3678. That's 866-369-3678. Pro-EM1, the raw probiotic.
Ceramic Body Armor is rated to stop 6 hits. But what about the 7th? Unlike ceramic or Kevlar, Infidel Body Armor is proven to take hit after hit, and it just won't quit. Reasonably priced and designed for the smart civilian prepper, Infidel stops hundreds of hits from small arms to high-powered rifles. That means safety and peace of mind. Buy yours at InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor just won't quit.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Hi, Ted Anderson. I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
They railed against the crown, another ragtag band.
They railed against the crown, another ragtag band.
Declaring independence.
Declaring independence.
They're our founders, and they're demonized by the traitors that have taken over.
Laid their bodies down.
Now our troops have fought wars and built the New World Order, and the globalists want them decommissioned. They're bringing in robots and drones. They don't need you anymore. They got all the new paramilitary young guys. The new FEMA, Yugen, the Boy Scouts trained for gun confiscation against veterans. You didn't know that? New York Times. Scouts trained to fight terrorists and more. Read it and weep. Look at the photos. All right, I want to try to hurry to get to your calls. I've got a special report coming up when I get back to Chris and others. But here's the deal. They're turning up the ambient background pressure, pushing the American people, the secret police, the demonization, the gun grabbing, the turning off our power plants, the regulations. It's on. And then when we break, they study that and demonize it and then start the war. This is a planned rollout of a war. So if somebody didn't tell you, America is now at a state of war with Northcom run by foreign banks over it, engaged in a treasonous takeover in slow motion. And now the heat's being turned up. So, yeah, Chris called in. And when I'm saying it's lawless and illegal, he's giving details. You have to be adjudicated as mentally defective, that's actually the term, in the Brady Act. But they don't do that. And they tell you, oh, you're depressed, you're having a fight with your wife. How about you just stop fighting with her and laugh at her? That'll end all the arguments right there, I'm here to tell you. You know, just act like I'm not saying that, just act like a man, like Don Corleone says, act like a man. The point is just don't fight. The point is they tell you, go to some shrink who's there spying on you 9 times out of 10, your enemy, putting you in a record database. When you go to the doctor, it's the same thing. So be aware, folks, the public schools, the hospitals, all of it, they're eugenics groups since 1910. Okay, they're all under race hygiene designation. They never got rid of it. They used to have a doctor say, sterilize that whole family. They'd sterilize you. No law. Okay, that's how they're doing this. They're using the old illegal powers of the Race Hygiene Office of the Health Department and Health Department state and federal law, which is really regulatory, to do it. Now, that's the big enchilada. That's how they're doing this, and they're a bunch of criminals. Now, going back to you, I'm ranting here, Chris. Make your point, and I'm going to get to then to Jesse and Sergeant Freedom and the rest of them. Go ahead and so who was doing this? Number one, why do you need a gun permit in North Carolina? I mean, I guess you can go get a permit if you want one to concealed carry, but everybody now thinks you've got to have a permit to own a gun. See how it's all psyops?
Well, what it is it's a permit to purchase. So out here, you get the permit to purchase the handgun, and ultimately, when you receive it, it gives you the right to open carry, which goes into my next point, is that I call on all veterans, all info warriors, anywhere that open carry is allowed. I really highly suggest that you do it, because it has opened up many doors for me to get out the information about the 1.62 billion bullets that have been sold by to Department of Homeland Security. Every time I open carry in different establishments that sell firearms and sell ammunition, it enables you to bring into conversation, hey, look, there's no bullets right now because these guys are buying 1.6
Hey, look,
billion
there's
bullets.
a war going on. America's been, exactly, if we can get the word out that this is a war, they lose. That's why they go, there's no bullets, there's no armored vehicles, there's no gun control, because it's a psyop. God bless you, sir. Who was telling you then? The local police chief? He knew you'd seen a psychologist for your marriage. Unbelievable. He knew that. He knew that and tried to not let you have a gun.
That is correct. And they could see it, but what they were trying to do is they were trying to dig in because they couldn't see the notes in the system, I guess.
Yeah, that's why they're digitizing that with like $10 billion right now. Again, folks, you go to the dentist, you go to the doctor, you go to have a baby, you go to the... I mean, now they say, oh, you had a car wreck. Why don't you go see the counselor? School counselors are now, I mean, they're all agents. They're all Stasi. God bless you. Boycott them all. Unbelievable. Let's go to Sergeant Freedom in Ohio. Sergeant Freedom, what's your intel?
How you doing, Alex?
I'm not doing too good. I mean, this is all coming down.
Yeah, well, there's more to it than you know. Right now, in different parts of the country, like here where I am, they're not sending you a letter that says you need to go for, a wellness check. What they're actually doing is they're going at it about it a different way. they're sending you a survey, or what they call a survey, okay? And in that survey, they ask you where did your ancestors come from? Were they from Eastern or Central Europe? And what color is your hair? What color is your eyes?
No, I actually knew about those. And then people love to talk about their family, so it tricks them to fill it out. Come back. And then later it asks, are you ever depressed? Are you having any family problems? And then they use that to take your guns. No. Listen, they're enemy agents and collaborators everywhere. On record, they say our veterans and our founders are terrorists. They are the terrorists. I mean, if a flying saucer landed and Gwobblesnap got out and announced, I am from the planet Pop-Tart, your founding fathers are scum, you'd know he's the enemy.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
A little over a year ago, I began to do a lot of research into why, even if I had a pretty good-sized meal, that I was still starving. And my research led me to a well-known fact that most of the soils that we grow our crops on here in the United States and across the industrialized world are almost completely depleted of almost all of the key minerals and trace elements that our bodies need to rebuild themselves, fight off cancer, and be healthy. I then searched out the best vitamin and mineral company out there and discovered Youngevity. The Youngevity products are designed to give you the real nutrition you need, and once you've got that, you don't have to eat as much to be satisfied. I've lost 37 pounds in 2 months, simply getting the vitamins and minerals I need. Check it out for yourself. It's incredible. Go to InfoWarsTeam.com today and order your first canister of Beyond Tangy Tangerine Complete Multivitamin Mineral Complex Dietary Supplement. That's InfoWarsTeam.com. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filter today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139. Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the Life Straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com.
Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
You know, I really can't blame all the other mainstream talk show hosts for not getting this or not covering it. They're scared. They've got hundreds of millions of dollars, a lot of them, and they think they're going to be safe. But almost every major entertainer in Europe who've been paying taxes their whole life for having their entire bank accounts taken in Spain, in Greece, in France. I've got a stack of news on that today. The ultra-rich are going to take everybody's money. Okay? So all of you that are going to sell out because you think it'll buy you time, folks, this is a hard takeover, okay? I am a major military historian. I know so much, I scramble it all the time. I don't have all the answers. You could study one period of Greek or Roman or Babylonian history or European history or Mesoamerican military history and not know it all. But I'm a major student of the whole history of it. And let me tell you something. The entire architecture of this and what the system is setting up, the entire architecture of this and what they're setting up, what they admit they're doing. I mean, I told you 12 years out, I said it's going to be for domestic total takeover, targeting conservatives, libertarians, gun owners, and veterans. And people later said, how did you know that? Because they always do. I mean, man, I tell you, when you know history, it's like watching a rerun of a TV show. Except we're in this thing. And they plan to fully shut this country down. Except for a few model UN cities like Austin, Texas. By the grace of God, this is where I was put, where my family's from on my mom's side. And it's a model of example where they're going to turn off all the regulations for only insiders to where Austin can operate. Everybody else will be shut down too. I mean, it's just lawless. They're not going to just take money out of your bank account. They're not going to let you operate. And they're just smiley-faced crooks. I mean, they know they're criminal. And this is their time. And all of you that decide to join it, just remember you were warned, because that's how God works. In every case in history, people come and tell you what's coming so that you have a chance to change. And sometimes you do change. Nineveh's a great example. A lot of times you don't. And so just remember, evildoers, remember out there, if you're not pure evil and don't really enjoy this, you don't like ugliness and wickedness taking over, remember you were warned. Remember you had a chance, okay? I can't believe most of you won't even stand up because of peer pressure. I mean, who cares what people think about you? They're not even alive when they just regurgitate what mainstream television says. Oh, God. And our numbers are so great. I mean, we really are the majority. And if you just all do, I mean, listen, McDonald's now is doing help wanted ads. You have to have a bachelor's degree and 2 years experience to work as a cashier. That's what you're doing. I told you. People always say, oh, you didn't go to college. Well, I went a little bit, but I already had 2 jobs and a media job and was, focused on that. And they're like, oh, you don't have a college degree. You're a nobody. More elitism. So you can go get your job at McDonald's, which they're now replacing with machines. They're replacing the tellers with machines. I have another article saying that. Okay, let's shut up and go to the callers. Sergeant Freedom, tell your story. Then I'm going to Jesse. Then I'm going to Ron, Tim, and Clarence, and I'll get to this other news. Go ahead, Sergeant Freedom. Tell us about the questionnaire that veterans are getting.
This questionnaire, Alex, covers everything, okay? It covers more than what you would go, like, to your provider with the VA. I mean, they can get this information from, your records, but they go into it in so much more detail. And the questions that they're asking are, I mean, very, very pointed. Where are your ancestors from? What color your eye, your hair? What color is your skin? What your religious preference is? But that's not the part that really bothers me so much. But the part that really bothers me so much is at the end of the survey, they say, we're going to make you an appointment, and we need you to come in so we can draw blood so we can keep it for future reference.
Yeah, do me a favor. I've been seeing, you've got the American surveys, community surveys, business surveys. They're now going to make census monthly. It was every 10 years, then every year, then every month. It's totally illegal. That they put a law on there, but the law is just to say how many people live here for congressional apportionment, how many Congress people, House members you get for your state. That's what's constitutional for representation, not the rest of it. And I've been hearing about this. Can you mail me a copy of that, or can you scan it and send it to Kurt@Infowars.com right now? How fast can you do that?
You know what? I can do it. It's going to take me a little bit because I destroyed mine. I won't put up with it.
I understand. Okay, well, go to Kinko's, go wherever, or go to a neighbor's house and scan it or snail mail it to P.O. Box 19549, Austin, Texas, 78760. Attention, Alex Jones. Because here's the deal. For 41 years in the entire industrialized, globalist controlled world, the Anglo-American controlled world, that doesn't mean white people, folks. It just means the British Crown system. They've taken blood from all babies for a genetic bioweapons warfare system. That's the main reason, is creating race-specific weapons. And they've got National Geographic fronts they use to get new blood. But yes, I have had veterans call me in letters saying they're demanding my blood now in letters. I mean, this is Nazi Germany. This is for total persecution. And they'll do false positives, too, and claim you're on drugs, whatever. I mean, you're done with them. They're there to destroy you. But you're just first. All of us are over. They're going to machines now. They've said that. Foxconn in China, they're going to machines. Mass suicide nets. Yeah, there it is. Newborn DNA banking, ACLU. I broke that story 16 years ago. It broke 5 years ago when it was declassified. And I was told everything by a Department of Defense nurse who gave me the documents. And anyways, it's all a side issue. What else do they ask you? What's the name of the questionnaire? And chances are it's already been scanned online. What's the name of the questionnaire?
The questionnaire is, God, you know what? They can get it if they go to va.gov, or they can get it if they go to My Health eVet. Right on the front page, it puts it up there. I forget what they're calling it.
So go to va.gov, folks. Go to the front page, or you're saying My What Vet? What's the address?
My Health eVet.
MyHealthEvet.gov. MyHealthEvet.gov, and then it'll have the questionnaire there on the front. They want your blood. And again, they'll probably have a talk show host come out and say I'm a liar. I haven't even gotten to that yet. But just absolutely amazing. Okay, my friend, God bless you. There you go. Jesse in North Carolina, you're on the air.
Alex, this is crazy what they're doing to us. I come home, I go to Iraq, I fight in Baghdad, the worst time to be there. I come home, and now they take my guns, they took my child. It took me a year to get my child back. I'm still trying to piece my life together. Now I'm the criminal.
Yeah, you know why I blow up on air a lot? They try to get me to read the letters. About 300 or more come in a week, and I don't even ever give the address out. I did today. And about a third of them are vets with the letters, and some of them, I'm not kidding, have tear marks on it. You can see or it's raindrops, where they're crying, writing me handwritten letters saying, please help me. They took my Jenny. They took my little David. My leg's blown off. My wife, is depressed over it, so they've said she's mentally ill. I mean, you go to these spies at the VA, they say you're mentally ill because your leg's blown off and you're bummed out. Your wife's depressed over how bad her life is. Everybody's going bankrupt, and then they come and take your little kids. And then they're 5 times to 7 times more likely to abuse them. And this is why I don't like doing this, because it gets me very angry to know that that's the thing. They're not just taking the guns from the vets. They're harvesting your kids. Jesse, briefly tell folks what happened to you.
Well, they put me on the suicide pills, and of course, after taking those, my mom calls up and says, look, I don't know what to do. The pills aren't working. And, he came back from heavy combat. Of course, he's going crazy now. So they send the SWAT team, dishonor me in front of my family, and everybody thinks I'm crazy now. And every time I go to VA, I've been locked up several times at the VA. If I disagree with the doctor, they'll send the VA police. I have to be wanted to go into VA. I'm not even allowed to go into my own veterans hospital without being wanted first.
And you're saying they took your children on top of it?
They took my kid after my mom had called the VA, and then they called the SWAT team behind her back.
I mean, I'm reading about vets in the news where if you now argue, family all knows it, and they watch the dramas and sitcoms, so it's fun to bring down men in their home instead of praying for them, loving them, getting them on healthy food, going to church. God can heal you, absolutely 100%. Instead, all the women jump up and down and go, you're mentally ill now. Of course, then the kids get taken and they freak out and don't like it, so they call their friend the government. And they sit there and use it as a weapon. Ooh, he raised his voice. He's a veteran. I mean, what a stinking system, man. Is that how it happened?
Me in court. They laughed at me in court. They laughed at me in the hospital when they forced injected me, strapped down against my will. Didn't even tell me the drugs they were giving me. and it was shameful. I didn't even treat Iraqis like that in Iraq.
Well, there's nothing worse than a veteran in America. You didn't know that. Well, sir, next they're going to put you in forced labor camps. That's the plan. So
right now, they took my money. I have to go to my mommy now to get money because she's my fiduciary. You know, they can come anytime they want to in my house. I have no right.
Well, God bless you, sir. I'm glad you at least got your child back. But there you go. Make people serve 5, 6, 7 tours and put them on drugs that I call suicide pills that say they make you go crazy. They got about 1/3 of the combat troops right now on those drugs. And then when they come back, they're going to take your guns and your children. And by the way, I've seen it in the news. You got a leg or an arm blown off, and you telling me I'm depressed about missing my legs. Your kids are gone, and a fat pedophile is going to have them raping them tonight. They're going to shoot your kid up with a vaccine. You see them 6 months later, your kid's going to have venereal diseases, your 3-year-old. Their body's going to be torn open, and they're going to have their teeth falling out. Oh, I've had the parents send me the photos and the dossiers. Pedophiles are going to rape your children morning, noon, and night, and they're going to shoot them up with vaccines until they have giant black circles around their eyes and crust all over their faces, and their teeth fall out. And then they're going to start having seizures, and then they're going to put them on other drugs until your child dies. That's a WOAI investigation they did, that state legislature then did an investigation on, because the doctor said, one head doctor said, we take kids in that are healthy, and a year later they're dead. We're killing them. But don't worry, that doctor was relieved from command. Thank goodness. Human sacrifice alive and well in America. Let's go ahead and talk to Ron in New York, who's been calling me for about 14 years. He called me back when he was a cop. He's retired now. Ron, tell us about this. Isn't this great?
No, this isn't great, Alex, and it's something I, in fact, have been fighting against, and you would find in police departments they've been using this. They beta tested it in police departments, and then later it was expanded out to the military, and this is going on for about 20 years, in fact. This is a slow-motion process that they've been beta testing, and now it's just come to the fore to where it's crystallized, and it's being used against a very large group of people, the veterans at this point, and so it's a little bit more visible. In fact, I fought against this to the point that I actually formed an organization and challenged the NYPD back in the 1990s over just this issue. And if you ever really want to get the insight on what's going on here, you give me a phone number, or I could speak to you off the air privately, and I'll be glad to inform you, and you have time to sit down and hear about it, and you will be even twice as shocked as you are now at the things that I discovered and learned when they were first trying to put these systems into effect. They started it with police departments. NYPD, by the way, was probably one of the leaders in using this. And by the way, we believed even all the way back in the 90s that they started to swap notes with the military, which now I'm even more convinced of. Oh, no, it's on record that actually the LAPD was the first, then New York. It's completely CIA-run as a laboratory, Ron. You say you believe it. It's just like you know stuff I don't know, and I know stuff you don't know. That's open intelligence that the CIA runs the NYPD. They've since admitted it. They have database for the NSA databases. They have everything, and you are the model for the rest of America. You are the model there with the NYPD. People think this just started last week. This goes back about 20 years. Matter of fact, you could literally tack this onto the board starting about the time of Clinton and going forward from there. Oh, no, and Clinton tried this. Remember Clinton tried to disarm 89,000 veterans. Remember that? Yes, he was the beginning of it, not the end of it, but the beginning of it, and that is about 20 years. And this thing is run by eugenicists. In fact, anyone who had what I refer to as the old morality, meaning a true morality, who was involved in this system was flushed out of this system. I had people who, in fact, as I said, I'll talk to you off the air if you have time and you've got a number. We could speak privately, and I'll inform you of things you do not know about, and I know you don't know. The father of that program to help officers in the NYPD, who is genuinely a man who was well-intended at heart, was actually flushed out. He told me that they'll make decisions about, decisions will be made about your psychiatric acumen based on whether you have hair coming out of your nose or your ear, things like that. You know, some people may grow long hair because in their mind, that's associated with somebody who comes from a racial group or maybe some biological background that to them is a mental inferior.
You know, I actually knew this, but I didn't know. I don't have witness police to it. Again, everything is the 1910 Eugenics Board, Margaret Sanger, the Rockefeller Brothers Foundation in New York. So that did start in New York. And it was just a kook thing. Like, I have a little bit of hair on my ear, and they actually taught that you're a throwback, a man, whether they're black or white, that has a lot of hair. They call that a low IQ. It has nothing to do with it, folks. And I have hair on me. It means high testosterone level. They're listing men as a bad thing. And no, I actually know about that. Well, they did that up until the 70s and 80s in Oregon. They would sterilize 14-year-olds that had a lot of hair. And you say, well, that just sounds crazy. At the state board, when they were talking about how they put the average Texas kid in foster care on 7 drugs and how they're dying from the drugs, it's in my film Endgame. I have the clip. The head of the psychiatry board says, well, she goes, well, do you do tests before you put them on drugs? He goes, yeah, they're poor, so they come from bad gene pools. It's just a weird excuse, like, well, let's get rid of this cop. He didn't trim his nose hairs. And you're like, well, it isn't meant to make sense. It's like, will they follow orders? Ron, anything else?
Yeah, in fact, like I said, I think we really should talk off the air about this, because as much as you do know, believe me, there's a lot on the inside you have no
Sure, Ron, give John your phone number and have him text. John Harmon, will you text me Ron's number? And I'll try to call you when I'm going home tonight at like 7 or something. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, it's total insanity. All due process is just burning away right now, and it's all eugenics. Eugenics is the religion.
In the last 2 years alone, the U.S. has seen huge losses to our food supply. In 2011, storms and floods raged across the U.S., costing us $20 billion in lost crops alone. In 2012, we saw the largest drought in the country in more than 50 years. You may think out of sight, out of mind, and so you don't think you will be affected. The fact is, you are. We all are. Food shortages drive prices up for everyone. You might not be able to control Mother Nature, but you can control your food prices by freezing the cost and availability of your food supply with eFoods Direct. Be prepared before you need it. With nutrient-dense food you can store for up to 25 years. You can hope for the best, but hope won't feed you. Do what I've done and get your own supply of the best storable foods out there from eFoods Direct. Call 800-409-5633 or visit them on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex and check out their spring specials. Again, that number is 800-409-5633 or on the web at efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
Imagine waking one morning only to find your family shivering in the dark because you couldn't afford to pay your electric bill. That's closer than you think. You probably haven't heard about this yet because the liberal media has been suppressing what is fast becoming the most shocking news story of 2012. Obama's secret war on coal that could increase your already high power bill as much as 400% in coming months. As shocking as it sounds, it may well be just a matter of time before the lights start going out across America. But here's some good news. There's an underground video at exposed123.com that thousands of smart patriots have used to end their slavery to the corrupt electricity monopoly. The video at exposed123.com has already been banned by Google, and the liberal media is doing everything in its power to take it down and keep America in the dark. So watch it now at exposed123.com before it's too late. Again, that's exposed123.com.
Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. Amino acids have to be delivered to your body in the shape that nature gave them if they are to be used to create new proteins in your body. Just like a bricklayer cannot use bent or twisted bricks to build a brick wall, so too your body cannot use bent or twisted amino acids to build new proteins. Giving your body an undamaged amino acid food can make a huge difference in your health. One World Whey is an undamaged amino acid food unlike any other. You see, heating bends and twists amino acids, and all whey protein powders we've investigated and most proteins you consume are heated. With our True Cool process, you now have a choice with One World Whey.
My name is Daniel. I'm 34 years old. When I started using One World Whey, I weighed 228 pounds. Now, after 2.5 months, I weigh 182 pounds. This is my ideal weight. I've noticed an increase in stamina, rate of recovery from workouts, and an increase in my potency.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldway.com.
No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now. No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now. We're the renegades in this atomic age.
All right, Ron, I'm going to go into overdrive, folks, with my report on how they're demonizing the Liberty Movement with disinformation, and we're going to go back to your phone calls as well. Don't forget to buy the books, to buy the videos, to support the broadcast as much as you can out there, because when you do support the broadcast, it allows us to get the word out. And I'm challenging everybody out there as well to get involved in InfoWarsHealth.com and the great products that are there to get the Pro Pure water filtration discounted with 10% off with promo code WATER. Also at InfoWarsShop.com. But I have trouble even focusing whenever I start thinking about just how crazy all this is. Ron is gone. We're going to get his number, and I'm going to call him tonight. Clarence in Oklahoma, you're on the air.
Yes, Alex. Thank you for what you do. And it's important news coming out of Oklahoma. I'm an Oath Keeper, 13-year Marine Corps veteran, Iraq, Afghanistan, every third world crazy country the globalists have already conquered. We had a phone call from law enforcement. Oklahoma Oath Keepers is growing at an accelerated rate due to everything going on. And this law enforcement officer told the head of Oath Keepers here in Oklahoma that watch what you post, because we already know that, on Facebook and anything on the internet. DHS is here in Oklahoma, and they're poisoning themselves to strike Oath Keepers in Oklahoma. So he did not give us the date. He didn't want to go into more detail over the phone. And we're trying to arrange a meeting with him to get more information. And from the things that have happened here in Oklahoma, with the members here in Oklahoma, we're looking at a possible DHS coming to the Oath Keeper leadership and trying to...
Well, they also... there's more propaganda within the government and, quote, law enforcement and the military than there is outside. They always say, watch those groups, we're going to arrest them. And it's just a fear thing. Man, those guys say they'll follow the Constitution and obey their oath. Man, that's evil. Let's arrest them. I mean, it's like the state police I have in Road to Tyranny at a checkpoint. It's their squad car video. And they find a pocket Constitution searching the woman's car illegally. She had no criminal record, and a Navy veteran. Abby Newman was her name. And they actually get it and start hyperventilating like they found a dead baby. Of course, a dead baby would probably make them happy nowadays, you know. Oh, good, kill babies, that's good. But, oh, Constitution, oh, so evil. And it's like cartoonish. But the Soviet agents thought it was bad if you talked about liberty. I mean, they just, it's total brainwashing. And, no, what they'll do is they'll blow stuff up and blame it on you. So anytime you're at a meeting and you're talking about, you know, defending America, and somebody's like, we ought to get on the offense, you're all wimps. Don't agree with them because they're recording you. Just go, oh, and follow them out, run their plates, follow them. Then you secretly record them and burn them down on YouTube. Blow their operations. So you've got to, look, who only thinks cops can run this stuff, or military? Most of them aren't even really trained in real counterterrorism. We're going to run counterterrorism against them. They're all immoral. The enemy's forces are immoral. They're banging hookers, they're using drugs, they're taking money, and you just start following them. I'm telling you, these people do evil continually. You start following them, you will burn them down. And it's time, folks. The reason I get so angry is that I'm taking my energy and putting it towards things that are nonviolent. But I'm telling you, this is war. When you hand out bumper stickers, it's war. When you spread the word, it's war. When you resist them, it's war. You're hammering them. Hammer them, hammer them, hammer them. These are the people that killed the kids at Oklahoma City. Hammer them hard. Hammer them. You hear what I'm saying, brother?
That's right.
I mean, it's time, man. Hammer them. I'm telling you. Jack them up. Go in the bars. Record them. Check your laws in your state for one-party consent. They're trying to change those so we can't. Look, they're criminals. Defeat them. We are the Republic. We are victorious, and we will live forever.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
If you want an American company with American products made by Americans, here is the Cal Ben Soap Company. Alex and his staff have used these pure soap products for years. These all-natural soaps are made from the highest quality vegetable and coconut oils that are earth-friendly and safe. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog. Buy the 1 to 2 month sample package and enjoy soaps that are twice as good as what you're using now. Or save big with a 1 to 2 year supply of soaps for all your cleaning needs. This is an amazing deal. You can save thousands of dollars and you will love the way real soap makes you feel. See them on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091 for a free catalog.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
I'm telling you, this is so real, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not concerned about all the cowards out there that hear this information and run hiding. I'm concerned for the men out there that understand what we're facing and the women that understand what we're facing. I mean, I'm not creeped out by the globalists. I'm not creeped out if they blow my head off, torture me, imprison me. I'm not looking forward to it, but they're the bad guys. That's not a point of view. They're bad. They're abusing kids all over this country. They want to start killing kids up to age 3 that are healthy. These are eugenicists. I know who they are. Somebody's got to stand up for these kids. Man, my instincts kick right in, folks. I don't know how other people's don't. I mean, my brain 24/7 is thinking how to beat these people and how to stop them. I mean, it just comes down to that. So sick of it. Of course they've been persecuting little children. That's who they hate the most. Now they're going after warriors because they're criminals. They're vampires. They want to get rid of the guards of the Republic so they can have their way with us. Well, guess what, criminals? This is not happening in a vacuum. I see you. You see me, I'm glad you see me. Tom in New York, you're a vet. What do you think of the purge of veterans that's not even being reported on?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to address some of the concerns of your guest, David, there. We had a similar situation here in New York. While we're not vets in any way, I was doing some long-term litigation. These are pro se cases in the federal courts.
Yeah, I know. They're now coming at people that sue them. I know. They're just a mafia of scum. The answer is get back in the mafia's face, and if all of us start getting in their face, they'll turn their tail and run. They think we've rolled over, so now they're getting ready to take the bank accounts.
Well, we were nailing them pretty good in federal court. We were taking some corrupt law enforcement agencies into the federal courts. And during the course of that, I have an elderly mother who's 80 years old. She's doing a lot of the secretarial work in the cases.
So they came after her. Double the lawsuits. Go ahead.
Right. Well, she ended up being involuntarily confined almost in exactly the same
yeah,
manner.
they're really targeting old people in the state, taking all their money. Oh, yeah, that's their favorite, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to make matters worse, there was it was just a couple hours visit to the hospital. They nailed her with a $15,000 bill.
No, this guy, they took his guns. They did the same thing. So now you sue them and put the bill back on them.
Right. Well, anyway, we ended up taking that issue into federal courts.
There you go.
And we recently got a ruling down from the district court in northern New York. And the ruling is, it's a blatantly unconstitutional type of.
Yeah, they're saying they're going to they're going to send you for a mental evaluation and make you pay for it.
Right, but the ruling we got was that it was completely unconstitutional. In our case now, it's headed into trial, we have a right to trial in the issue.
Oh, well, that's great. Wait. Are you saying the court ruled against you or for you?
No, for us.
Well, great job. You ought to write an article about it. Cite your case. We'll put it on Infowars.com.
Right, yeah. I actually have been trying to do that for some time. But,
all right, send it to Rob D at Infowars.com. Rob and the initial D at Infowars.com.
Yeah,
hey, does it not make your blood boil to realize how criminal this government is? And if they can get all these idiots to follow orders, it's going to be hell on earth.
Well, as you say, you just have to pursue them.
How dumb are these cops and people and judges? Don't they get that if the globalist can, you ought to see the cops hiding from a few Mexican mafia around here. But meanwhile, the public is so scared of the government that literally they would give if the government wanted our children for lunch meat, mothers would slit their throats. I'm serious. I have just had enough of this. I'm just done. I'm past everything. I hate you, New World Order. I spit on you. You are filth. And I will never give up, you trash. You just maggot-infested garbage. You are the most pathetic hordes of criminal garbage, and you're weak, and I can see your soul. I can see it. It's destined for hell. We'll be right back. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gates, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139.
Chicago is a virtual battlefield. More than 500 shooting deaths in 2012 have made Chicago the murder capital of America. Proof that gun control doesn't work. Disarming law-abiding citizens ensures that only criminals have guns. And Rahm Emanuel and the Chicago Machine want to keep it that way. If we can't stop them in Chicago, we may lose the whole battle. But there's hope. On April 9th, we have a chance to send billionaire Mike Bloomberg, Rahm Emanuel, and his Chicago Machine a crystal clear message that we have a natural right to defend ourselves, our homes, and our families, and that they need to keep their hands off our guns. Illinois Republican Paul McKinley is sending that message in a bitterly fought special election to replace disgraced ex-rep Jesse Jackson Jr. Every vote, every voice in support of Paul McKinley is a stand against the gun-grabbing Chicago Machine. Will you stand up and defend your gun rights? Call 800-979-1555. 800-979-1555. That's 800-979-1555. 800-979-1555.
Paid for by Tea Party Leadership Fund PAC. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. The TeaPartyLeadershipFund.com.
Hello, this is Ty Bollinger, author of the best-selling book, Cancer, Step Outside the Box. I want you to know some very important information. In 1985, President Ronald Reagan requested that Carnivora be sent directly to the White House at a time when only the president could obtain this world-class healer. Now, 27 years later, Carnivora capsules are used around the world to keep people healthy. Now you can protect yourself and your loved ones in this age of superbugs with 17 naturally occurring compounds that instinctively respond to abnormal cells only without harming a single normal cell. If you want to stay healthy, now's your chance to literally wake up your critical immune cells to attack harmful invaders that don't belong in your body. Call 1-866-VENUS-FLY or order from carnivora.com. That's carnivora.com. That's 1-866-836-8735, 1-866-VENUS-FLY, or visit carnivora.com. Protect your immune system. It's the only one you've got.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, We are here back live, and I guess we'll just do a rebroadcast coming up in the next hour. I'm going to do this whole hour here. That way I'll have time to get to all this and have it all prepared and ready. We're here taking your phone calls today. First clip we're going to play is Obama's alien Secret Service spotted at 2012 APEC conference, because I want to illustrate how the media uses kooky stuff like this to then discredit real issues. And the second clip we're going to play is Obama's ex-Secret Service agent is, it's not gun control, it's people control, because that's the actual Secret Service agent that's clearly they're saying is a reptoid. And then I want to play Obama, you know, basically people saying he's a shapeshifter, and then I've got a bunch of other clips I'm going to give to here, and how the system uses this to try to basically discredit all the serious issues and things that are going on. Okay? So we're going to be going to that here in just a moment, but right now let's go to Scott in Idaho. Scott, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey. Hi, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
I wanted to talk something about the court system in this country, because that seems to be a place where a lot of us are ending up at. The civil lawsuits that need to be filed are under Title 42, subsection 1983, and Title 18, subsection 242.
Sure. I mean, it's just like they can't... do me a favor, turn your radio down. It's just like they can't... take people's bank accounts without a judge or jury or finding that they did something wrong. They just do it here now, and they're doing it overseas. They already take money out of people's accounts. The IRS will seize your entire business account as part of an investigation, never give it back. It's lawless tyranny. And so now they're going to take everything because we rolled over and followed the orders, because we didn't have spinal cords. And yes, it's official oppression. It is civil rights violations on so many fronts. It is just Soviet-style tyranny. Go ahead.
In this country, the only people that have rights in the courts and outside the courts are people that demand their rights.
That's right.
In the face of opposition. If you don't know what your rights are, then you don't have any.
That's 101. The first thing they teach at any law school is what you just said. But they tell people, grovel and you get your rights. And then now turn your guns in. That's because they're going to get rid of all the rights, folks. And the general public's so cowardly that even as they lose everything, they will worship the government, because they think worshiping tyranny is powerful.
That's right, Alex, and it's not no mystery to go into the courts and demand your rights. I've been very successful at helping other people do it. I teach people how to do it, and to date, I've helped people win 115 out of 127 criminal cases and 51 out of 63 civil cases, including a lawsuit against the Northern Idaho Logging Company that was being sued by the state of Montana because someone got injured on the job.
Beautiful, beautiful. Send me your info, and God bless you. Now, I'll go to more calls here, but I wanted to get to this now, and I meant to cover it earlier in the broadcast. And it has to do with Glenn Beck and several other issues. And it's just this. I played a clip earlier today of Glenn Beck saying there are no billions of bullets. I'm a liar. And that I'm a fascist for saying it. And that I'm a piece of garbage. And there are no FEMA camps, even though you can look at Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program, Army.mil, going on since the 70s and 80s. You can type in Emergency Centers Establishment Act. You can type in the Army field manuals that deal with re-education camps. They actually call them that. I mean, it's like saying, devil camps. They even use usually that they call tyranny something nice, like come in for a well check when we take your guns. And go to govtrack.us, HR 645, National Emergencies Establishment Act, and it points out the FEMA camp program that are already there. It just wants to expand it and make a national office for it. And just as I predicted, they'll have rock and roll music or country music on Friday night. It's all how great the re-education camps are. like Hogan's Heroes. You don't think the Nazis came out and said, we have horrible death camps, do you? The Nazis came out and said, oh, people are beating up the Jews and people, which the Nazis had ordered, and you can't pay for yourselves because we shut down your businesses years ago, and have been harassing you like the veterans. Now, we're just going to go put you in a place for your own safety. It actually says it in the congressional bill, too, but it doesn't exist. And to try to discredit us on this front, Becky Pooh, and again, folks, you know, I don't attack the other talk show host very, very rarely. Because, you know, if I can agree with more of what they're doing than bad, and they're not flaming tyrants like Rush Limbaugh or Michael Savage or whatever, if I can agree with them on some issues, then I mean, I'll have them on. I've had Michael Savage on. I want to get him, by the way, back on. I mean, I'm here to try to influence them, not get in a fight with them. But Glenn Beck, people are asking me to watch this for like a week, and I said, I'm not going to watch it. You know, Secret Service turns into Reptoid. I mean, there are literally hundreds of videos, let's be conservative, thousands of videos on YouTube where I'm supposedly a Reptoid. We're going to play that video here in just a moment. Now, the point here is that, you know, they'll take digital distortion when a video feed breaks up and say, that's Alex, the Reptoid, you know, turning into one. And then that's wildly popular instead of real stuff like Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program or Army Manual for Re-Education Camps. I mean, you type that in, you're at Army.mil. I mean, this is big breaking news no one will cover. But they'll talk about Am I Bill Hicks all day. Now, I would get it if Glenn Beck was covering this to make fun of people and said, look at these nuts making us look bad, saying, you know, the Secret Service guy is an alien. I would, you know, say, well, that's interesting. Good job, Glenn Beck. I've said to Glenn Beck, please stop attacking me. Please stop saying I'm a fascist. Please stop saying to your listeners I can't be trusted. Please stop saying I'm lying about the bullets. We're going to play those clips coming up. Please stop it. In fact, for radio listeners, let me give them the Army Manual for Re-Education Camps. How to process your family, Social Security numbers, all of it. Yeah, scroll down. It's FM 3-39.40. FM 3-3940, Internment Resettlement Operations, February 2010. Okay. So the point is, Glenn Beck will not cover this. He built it up for a month that he was going to expose FEMA camps and then said they didn't exist. And I predicted he would use a straw man fake camp that I identified 15 years ago. So I'm trying to keep Glenn Beck honest here. I don't want to hurt Glenn Beck. Okay, I think overall he does some good. I don't know whether he's an operative that he attacks me or he's a gatekeeper or both. But the point is that he knows full well the FEMA camps are real. He knows full well the bullets are real. And, you know, he's acting like the ADL, the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, this video we're going to play is viral, millions of views, of saying a Secret Service agent is an alien. And I was like, where have I seen that guy before? Because he looks striking, and he's a Sicilian. Bongino is his name. And Sicily was invaded by Africans. So, you know, he's got striking African and Italian handsome features. But in digitized, blown-up video, you can see some of the pixels, and they say he's an alien. Now, I had remembered seeing him when he came out for the Second Amendment. I went, I've seen that striking, chiseled jaw, looks like The Thing or something from the Fantastic Four. I've seen that superhero-looking face. Sure enough, I pulled it up. I found the evil alien. And let me tell you, if he's a shape-shifting alien, we need more of them. because the guy is, you know, left the Secret Service over what's happening. Now, I know it's Bongino or it's his brother because it is a striking-looking guy, okay? And he looks like a pit bull or something. But the point is that he's not from Planet Pop-Tart. Now, what does Glenn Beck do? Where does he enter the story? He plays the video last week. I finally saw this last night researching it. People kept saying, okay, I'll watch the alien. I'm like, I've seen that guy before. No, he's a Secret Service agent that's pro-Second Amendment. He's not an alien from, you know, Booblebop or whatever it is. Glenn Beck comes in and goes, oh, the Bilderberg Group. Oh, the New World Order. Oh, the Jews. Oh, and he's the guy always saying there's no Illuminati, congressional history. George Washington wrote letters about it, mainline history. There's no bullets. There's no Bilderberg. Every year he says we're bad to cover Bilderberg, 125 mafia meeting to decide the future of the world. So at key points, he comes and defends the establishment. I mean, it's just amazing that he does this type of stuff and then says, I can't be trusted. What, I can't be trusted to be a coward? I can't be trusted to be a scam artist? I can't be trusted to charge people 3 times what gold's worth? I mean, Glenn Beck, leave me alone, okay? Leave me alone, because I can't help it. And I know it hurts you when I go after you. I mean, hell, I can make it a full-time deal, buddy. You either stop lying to people about the bullets and the FEMA camps and me, or I'm going to make it a full-time job to actually watch what you're up to. Okay, and you know there's one guy that can bring you down. It's me. And that's why you tried to knock me down. Punk, I don't want to knock you down. Do you understand that? We're going to skip this network break. Now, I'm sorry, I just can't help it, folks. Excuse me. I just can't handle duplicitous garbage anymore. Excuse me. Let me stop right there. Let's go ahead and go to the pretty comical piece where it's talking about at the AIPAC conference that they're lizard people, and then they show the Secret Service guy. Here it is.
Well, good morning, everyone.
During Barack Obama's speech at 2012 AIPAC Policy Conference at the Washington Convention Center, the camera spotted a very odd individual, who may be either with the U.S. Secret Service, or with Israel's, and could be a strong evidence of a shapeshifter alien humanoid working for the powers that be, caught in a high-definition video during an event of the Zionist cabal.
The Zionist cabal.
4 years ago, I stood before you and said that Israel's security is sacrosanct. It is non-negotiable. That belief has guided my actions as president.
Even though at first sight he looks just like the average Secret Service spook, a series of odd features on his head, face, plus a very strange behavior and creepy movements, suggest something else. But due to the low lighting in half the amphitheater, he would pass unnoticed or regarded as a normal human being by the crowd, and everybody who watched this video, if it was not by the camera of the Jewish News One, which caught him from another angle,
the camera of the Jewish
into
One,
some sort of reptilian non-human form.
Drawing intense criticism from some pro-Israel groups who have claimed
Now, they blow up digital footage. And then they say digital...
Disregard all the distortions and image artifacts caused by post-edition zooming, and pay close attention to how his head features suddenly change. His ears, his nose, his chin, cheekbone, jaw and mouth...
All right, let's stop right there. I mean, anybody that blows up video to that level knows that's what it does. So they say, never mind. The only thing Glenn Beck says is true. He goes, look, notice how they say, never mind the video distortion, but look at the distortion. And so there's that clip. Now, here is the actual Secret Service agent, and it's him. I mean, I bet money you look it up that he was at that event. If not, it's his cousin. Obama's former Secret Service agent. It was Obama's agent, one of his head agents, so that's him. Gun control on Fox and Friends. This is a fascinating conversation between Tucker Carlson and the originator of the statement, former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino. Am I pronouncing that right? All right, now, here he is, all the way, 14-trillion-year-old reptoid, all the way from Sicily, here, ladies and gentlemen, to tell us that we shouldn't turn our guns in. So, are the aliens our friends? People actually think I'm being serious saying that. Now, see, this is all funny, but luckily we found out who he is. My memory did. So, that's some breaking news. We now know who the reptoid is. I'm joking. The thing is, then Beck mixes it with Bilderberg Illuminati, which is all real, to discredit it, just like he always does, playing that classic straw man, mixing things together tactic. And every time I watch Beck or see him, it's pure manipulation. Him going to his listeners, you can only trust me, no one else. I mean, it is like creepy. If I had a crew member going, you can trust me and no one else, I'd be, how about you're fired, you creep? I mean, it's just, where are people's instincts? Of course the creep doesn't like me. I don't know what Glenn Beck's deal is. When I say I can bring him down, I mean, I can start really going after him on all the frauds he's involved in, lying to people. And how he knows full well about bullets and other stuff and his sponsors and everything else. But I got bigger fish to fry. But I mean, I am tempted to really let Beck have it. I mean, really a planned, prosecuted war against him just to show him what I can do. So he'll leave me alone. But I'd rather just Glenn Beck be a good guy and leave me alone, you know. But side issue. Doesn't matter, Becky Pooh. I know your people are watching right now. Want to say hi to them. Know what you're so worried about, buddy. It's a growing pie. We're not collectivist here. I want a future for my kids, don't you? Then leave me alone. Stop calling me a socialist and a fascist and all this crap. All right. Again, stop lying to your listeners, okay? Don't start fights. Don't write checks you can't cash, bud. All right, now let's go back here. Let's go back now to the next clip of the Secret Service agent, Lord of the Pop-Tarpians. Here it is.
That flag represents something. Men and women have died horrible deaths. Horrible deaths. My uncle being one of them. Shot in the back in Vietnam to protect your very right. We live in a society
Look at the mannerisms.
of wolves.
It's the same guy.
You do not fight back by creating more sheep.
Our next guest says there is no such thing as gun control, only people control. You just saw him giving a passionate speech at a rally in Maryland. Joining us now is former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino. Dan, thanks a lot for joining us.
That's him.
What do you mean there's no such thing as gun control, only people control? Tell me what that means.
Tucker, this is larger ideological ploy by this administration. They're not being authentic with America, whether it's the sequester, health care, or the gun control issue. What they do is they manipulate an emotional crisis, a national emotional crisis, to further an ideological agenda which involves the evaporation, the slow disintegration of your civil rights.
$500, whoever gets him on.
Your ability to live and let live. And it's a disturbing pattern.
I paid $5,000 for the Obama
really
lady.
starting to get under my skin.
I once read where you said that when you were in the business of protecting public figures, when you went to a place with gun control, you didn't feel safer.
Right. I mean, we have this Downtown Abbey class of politicians and bureaucrats who they understand as clear as day that gun control has absolute, which, by the way, is a myth. They're manipulating the language. Gun control, with air quotes, has no effect whatsoever on violence or the ability of wolves in our society to impart violence on you.
A two-tier system where privileged people, Mayor Bloomberg, for example, are surrounded by bodyguards with high-capacity magazines.
And there's even bad video edits in that from online and digital artifacts there. People will say he's a reptoid. Well, if he's a reptoid, these are good aliens. I mean, they're here to help us, here so we can protect ourselves. Okay, so that's it on that front. Here's Glenn Beck talking about this video, and then we'll go to Glenn Beck attacking me. But here's Glenn Beck mixing people calling this guy a space alien. When you see him giving his speech, he's got the same mannerism of a guy's got a lot of energy, like Jesse Ventura has that. Those are the kind of guys you don't want to start a fight with. They've just got so much energy. They're all over the place. That's what Secret Service does. They're looking for somebody with a weapon. They're like, oh, look, he's moving strange. He's an alien. In like bad lighting, digital artifact. Oh, my gosh, you know. Oh, my gosh, he's an alien. And then Glenn Beck uses this to attach it to Bilderberg and to attach it to the Illuminati and to anybody that criticizes him. So he's implying if you believe in Bilderberg and Illuminati, you think this guy's a space alien. See how that works? See how you're being treated out there? Let's go to this clip.
I can finally spill it because I have been surrounded by Illuminati.
You can finally spill it that you're really a woman?
Whataburgers, bacon cheeseburgers.
Lizard people, and Zionists. And well, I mean, Zionist goes without saying. When you talk Whataburgers, Bilderbergers, lizard people, you know.
The Zionists own all those people and things.
Most of the chain
restaurants. The Blaze is reporting on a story that was on last night, and I tell you, it's
incontrovertible proof.
It is. And we just have to play this for you. Now, the Blaze is spinning us. This is, some conspiracy theory.
So typical of the Blaze.
So obviously, typical. When you have proof, it's no longer a conspiracy.
Right.
And they show the proof.
Right. And so of course, this is what the media does.
All right, that's enough. Turn it off. So, see, everybody's a conspiracy theorist but him. Bilderberg doesn't, and every year he criticizes us when we cover it. And Glenn, again, if you will just send through the grapevine a message. Notice you post some of our articles of the Blaze, and maybe that's your people and not you, that you're going to stop lying about me and stop doing stuff like this. I'll leave you alone. Plus, I don't ever really talk about you anyways. You don't care. Whatever. The point is, stop saying I'm making up the bullets and stuff. We need to save this country. You discredit yourself, though. Your audience knows the bullet story's real. I mean, I just can't believe you get away with this. I mean, I'd expect Chucky Schumer to say something like that. Now, here is a few clips of Glenn Beck talking about me in the last few months, the things he's been saying. Just go to some of the clips here.
You know, Alex Jones, you piece of garbage. I don't know what your deal is. I really don't know, and I don't care. But if you actually cared about the things you were talking about, you would actually use your brain and start to find different ways than just going to your kook friends in your basement. What you would do is you would actually say with some credibility, this is true. And these are the ways that we can.
That's enough. I mean, he didn't even say what I'm lying about. It's just that there are no basements in Texas, bud. Let's go to the next clip. Let's go out to break with this one.
On a guy that we don't talk about very often because he's so insignificant and we don't really care. But he's
also psycho.
Yeah,
can we just say what it is?
I think he is
psycho.
He can see a lot of things that other people can't see.
Like a conspiracy around.
Like a couple of Nellies sitting on TV. I can see that. We're going to go to break and we're going to come back to these cream puffs on the other side there. These Liberace's. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stay with me.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Alex Jones. Myself, my family, the Infowars.com team want to relay to you and your families that we are intensifying our efforts against the globalist on every front. Infowars.com is leading the fight against the technocrats. But we can't do that without your help. By getting the films, bumper stickers, and T-shirts at Infowars.com, you will wake up people in your area and support our operation as we move to the next level. We need your help to spread the word like never before. They wish to hide themselves during this tectonic battle between the forces of freedom and darkness. You are the response to the globalist technocrats and their program of global eugenics, dehumanization, and ultimate extermination. The war is here. It's an info war. The spirit of 1776 versus the mindset of 1984.
You prepare by purchasing gold, food, and firearms. But if you don't have a home security system, then you're missing a critical weapon in your arsenal for home protection. When you're sleeping or away from home, who's watching out for intruders? Check out Simply Safe. It's a new do-it-yourself home security system that is completely wireless. Go to GetSimplySafe.com. Simply Safe is independent and off the grid. It runs on battery power, so even if the grid goes down, you're protected. It's completely customizable, so you can use it in your home, business, boat, trailer, storage unit, or shed. GetSimplySafe.com. Simply Safe is also ridiculously easy to install yourself in under 20 minutes, so there's no need to let a stranger into your home. If you move or need to relocate, you can take the system with you wherever you go. You aren't always at home, but Simply Safe will stand guard, protecting your property 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Again, that's GetSimplySafe.com.
Introducing a 30-day emergency food supply for only $99. At 30dayfoodsupply.com, you can purchase Oregon Trail Foods' 1 month supply of high-quality, nutritious, and healthy emergency meals for less than $100. These vegetarian meals are natural, high in carbs and protein, and are packed with oxygen absorbers in Mylar pouches. They take up to 70% less space than number 10 cans, have a 20-year shelf life, and huge portions, over twice the serving size of some competitors' meals. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low by buying direct from producers in Oregon and then pass the savings on to you. Purchase a 30-day, 90-serving emergency food supply for only $99 this month, and $10 ships your entire order to the lower 48. Call 541-673-6666 or visit 30dayfoodsupply.com, where they make preparedness affordable. 30dayfoodsupply.com. Got it? Get it. Go to 30dayfoodsupply.com.
Big John, Big John.
Every morning at the mine, you could see him arrive. He stood 6'6" and weighed 245, kind of broad at the shoulder and narrow at the hip. And everybody knew you didn't give no lip to Big John. Big John, Big John, Big Bad John. Nobody seemed to know where John called home. He just drifted into town and stayed all alone. Didn't say much, kind of quiet and shy, but if he spoke at all, he just said hi to Big John.
All right, let's go back. You know, I wish Glenn Beck would talk about the purge of veterans outside of law having their guns taken. I wish he'd talk about Bilderberg Group. Imagine if he would have talked about Bilderberg Group when they were meeting last year in Chantilly, Virginia. But it doesn't exist. Over and over again, he said people are nuts that cover it. 125 world leaders, royalty, meeting in secret with U.S. government officials. And it doesn't exist. And the only conspiracy that exists is what he exposes. That's the only one that exists, is that if he says it, and it's all George Soros, the Nazi collaborator, which is a super bad guy. And again, I've seen Beck get a little bit better over the years now that he's independent, and I've tried to leave him alone. I'm just tired. There's a bunch of other clips we haven't even played where I'm a fascist, I'm evil, I'm bad, I'm a liar. And, I mean, I just can't believe some ninny up there who starts stuff and does stuff to me behind the scenes and on air, then acting like in these clips. So I was watching some of them this morning, refreshing my memory, like I'm starting something with him. All right, let's go ahead and go back to that clip we were playing. Here's the insignificant clip.
He has on a guy that we don't talk about very often because he's so insignificant and we don't really care. But he's
also psycho.
Yeah, he's.
Can we just say what it is?
I
The
think
guy
he is.
is psycho.
He can see a lot of things that other people can't see.
It's like a conspiracy around every corner and in everyone's eyes. and if you don't agree with him, you don't just disagree. You're in on it. You're in on it.
Always.
To him and his minions.
I am, and
it's crazy.
His minions.
And I said it's amazing because he runs InfoWars.
His minions.
And really smart people have come up to me and said, you know, I just saw this on something from InfoWars. Do you know anything about it? And I'm like,
yes,
yeah, stay away from it.
Immediately discount
Somebody
it.
came up to me
Stay
just
away.
2 days ago and said, we just bought like 1.5 billion rounds of Homeland Security. And I said, I don't know, might be. Well, I got it from InfoWars. And I'm like, okay, well,
no.
Then I can tell you right now it's most likely not true. He's not a conservative. He's not a conservative. I don't know what he is, except a conspiracy theorist. Everything that anyone would ever say about me on conspiracy theory, it's Alex Jones. And when they try to make me look like a conspiracy theorist, they always use his arguments and assign them to me. Mm-hmm. I'm not the FEMA camp guy. No. I'm not the birther guy. I'm not the World Trade Center guy. That's not me. That's him. And they use his arguments and assign them to me.
Which you've never espoused.
I've never espoused. Never. I don't believe in them. In fact, I wholly reject them.
Yeah, in fact, you're the one who, if I'm not mistaken, debunked the FEMA camp theory.
So what's amazing to me is here is two really dishonest people. That sounds like the ravings of a fascist. That's what that sounds like. And quite honestly, I believe that's what that guy is.
I think that right now the question is, do we all work for central bankers? That's what I want to address to our guest tonight. Is this global governance at last? Is it one world, the central bankers in charge? Jim Iurio, you say we've got some downside here, a correction in the markets. Fine. But aren't we all just living and dying for what the central banks do? Aren't we all just counting on the fact that there's a Bernanke put and that we won't go any lower than, say, 5% down from here?
Of course we are, because if we look at the economic data, there's nothing to get excited about in that. So yesterday we saw some reluctance for the Bernanke Fed to expand their balance sheets and pump more money.
Yeah, I'm the guy that's been saying for 15 years they're going to take your bank accounts and your pension funds. So, again, Glenn Beck says I'm making up global government. I'm dishonest. He said that, I'm working with Piers Morgan to be dishonest. Yeah, that was a real black eye for gun owners. No, the only hope we've got is getting up on our hind legs and saying, you crooks want our guns, back off. Not, oh, we're going to compromise. Okay, take some of our guns and register the rest when it's the exact blueprint. Oh, I'm so sick of it. But again, it just made me mad because I don't ever watch Glenn Beck. I mean, I literally might see him like once a month. I try to stay away from it because I try to be a nice guy and not go after people. I got bigger fish to fry, and I'm like, people want me to cover this alien thing, okay? Oh, I've seen that Secret Service guy. Where have I seen that face? A few months ago, he was the guy that came out for the Second Amendment. Okay, this alien thing's like a year old from 2012, middle of 2012. So but I just seen it, last night. So I went and found it, and then I see a Glenn Beck clip, and I go, let me see what he says about it. And I click on it, and he's like, the people that believe in Bilderberg Group and the Illuminati believe that aliens are everywhere, and the Bilderberg Group doesn't exist. That's what he's saying. And that is an ADL, Southern Poverty Law Center tactic, is to say, oh, Alex Jones thinks the borders are open. He also believes in blood-drinking lizards. I don't believe in that. I mean, there's Forbes, 1.6 billion rounds of ammo for Homeland Security. It's time for a national conversation. Well, not if Glenn Beck has his way, because you're not supposed to have a conversation about that. You're not supposed to discuss that. You're supposed to just shut up. Listen, I know what I'm talking about, okay, Glenn? When you were making jokes about other talk show hosts, wives that had miscarriages on Zoo Radio, making fart noises, trying to be Howard Stern, I was confronting federal judges for keeping the Branch Davidians in prison when they've been found not guilty of murder. How was he keeping them in jail then for committing murder with firearms? The weapons charge. I went and bullhorned the judge, and I was told, we're going to kill you if you don't shut up. And I told the people, go to hell. And then they called me at the studio one night and said, we're waiting outside. And I said, oh, I bet you are. And I walked outside, and they had 4 boxers out there to try to beat me into the ground like something out of Cape Fear. And it ended like Cape Fear, too, except I'm not a serial killer like Robert, like what's his name? Who's the actor that plays in the new Cape Fear? Robert De Niro. The whole point is that I live in the real world, buddy. I was never a Zoo Morning guy. I never spun records. Okay, I got into this when I was 20 years old, 20 years ago. And it took me 2 years to get on the air, and I did everything I could to get on the air, not because I wanted to be a big shot and have $200 million and all the rest of it. I did it because I believe in the Second Amendment, because it flows in my veins, because my family's been revolutionary from the start. Okay, that's who I am. Who are you? I'm not the reason you come from a broken home. I'm not the reason, mommy or daddy or whatever it was committed suicide. I'm not the reason, okay? You understand that? I don't come from where you come, and I'm sorry you went through that pain, but you're not going to place it on me. So your miscarriage jokes and stuff, they don't mean anything to me. You understand that? And you and the the guys that came from Zoo Radio with you or whatever are jokes. And I see you for what you are. My goal is to go 110% and not back off and not compromise. Your goal is to run around and act like our grand leader and our religious cult leader. All right, that's what you really want to be. And charge people. I looked up once. He was charging $500 for a ticket. And you know what? He got people to actually buy them so that he could buy private jets and stuff. And look, I'm not against people having private jets if he wrote a best-selling book or had a bunch of money or, found an oil well or whatever. But the issue is I could go, and maybe I should, because some people pay attention to, I could go and book a hotel and charge people $500 a piece, $1,000 a piece to have a meet and greet with me and to sit in the front 3 rows and charge everybody else $100 and they'd pay for it. To really be in a nice hotel and do a couple-day conference, he's about $50 to $100, quite frankly, as they cost so much. This guy would do $500 a ticket or $400 a ticket at Six Flags where there's no overhead, and he rents it for almost nothing. And then to have these people that don't have the money come pay $500 to him so that he can fly around in private jets, I mean, that's just obscene to me. But, you know, maybe I don't think big enough. You know what I mean? I sit up here and I think small. I just want to get the word out. I count on you to fight these people. I'm sitting there doing this. And maybe I do need to charge $500 to come see me and buy a jet and fly around and, you know, and I'll play ball with the New World Order and I'll, you know, say only George Soros is bad. There's nobody else to worry about and all this crap. I don't even know why I'm going off on a Glenn Beck rant today. I just always do whatever comes up in me, in the spirit, the gut, whatever you want to call it. So that's what it is. It's just that, and people are like, oh, you envy the fact he charged. By the way, he can't do that now. I've gone and looked before. You know, the tickets are now $100. How much are they? $350. Oh, they're not $500 anymore. And this is a guy that takes acting lessons. You see him on YouTube prancing around like a fairy. I mean, it's just, there's no end to it. And look, that's fine. I have nothing against fairies. Just don't sit here and try to piss on me. That's where I come from here. I mean, you know, you're sitting there and they're like, I'm sorry, you can't come on the Fox shows. Glenn Beck is climbing the walls over there saying people will, you know, pay for it. And then the fourth or fifth time you're told that by other people, then you're like, oh, my God, Glenn Beck told me I shouldn't go on your show. You know, when you're talking to someone, I mean, it's just like on and on and on and on and on. Notice he never attacks me on that and calls me a liar. Because, you know, I'll name names. The point is that why does he have a problem with me? Because, folks, I sent him registered mail. I had my listeners do it so they'd be deep in it. The Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program documents and all the admitted programs and the congressional passed laws and the Rex 84 and the Miami Herald clippings. I sent Glenn Beck everything. For a month, he was saying, I'm going to expose the FEMA camps, and it looks like they're real. And the people on his TV show would go, oh, really? It was all a big joke. And I went, I don't know how I know this stuff. I didn't want to say it because I want to influence what he did until the morning of it. And I said, he will bring on the Popular Mechanics debunkers, and he will show a defunct train station in Illinois that I exposed in the late 90s as a fake FEMA camp. I don't know how I know this stuff. I just know how people operate. And then that's what he did. People are like, oh, my God, Glenn Beck's going to do the right thing. And I'm like, yeah, right. And that's why I don't like him, ladies and gentlemen, because I sent him heartfelt stuff when I knew he was listening to the show every day and had a bunch of his team listening. That guy's got a huge staff of like 100 people, last time I heard. And they're watching right now. And I said, I'd like to support you. I hope you're a good person. Here's a big file, and I'm also having people send you this stuff, so I know you're knee-deep in this. Please don't do a straw man. I already knew what he was going to do. I just hoped he had some humanity. And then I shot videos saying, do the right thing, be on the right side of history. And reportedly, I talked to 2 insiders that said he got really upset. I said, why is he climbing the walls over there? And they said, Glenn Beck, be on the right side of history. A message to Glenn Beck. I mean, it was a nice message. And, you know, he just didn't want any part of it. Well, here's a little news flash, Glenn boy. They could kill me today. They could set me up tomorrow. Or I could live 100 more years. The point is, I am real, and you'll never take that away. You'll never take it away, and you know it. And that's what you hate. Okay? There's nothing wrong with doing zoo radio. But you've got a creepy factor where you get on, what was it, 60 Minutes or something, and say, I became a Mormon to have sex with my wife. I wanted to get her in bed. And he knows demographically he's going for kind of weak metrosexual conservatives that just want to kind of shuffle around and laugh at everything. Kind of the you know, in their marketing, because I actually know he's not really like that. I kind of just joke at the Nelly persona. That's all an act. Glenn Beck's like a demon, from what I've heard. A raging demon. He does that because he thinks that's who you are. You know, little white loafers and his little sweater and, hi, I've got a plaid tie on. Yeah, you know how it is. Yeah, I mean, it's all actuaried out with all the top guys, formerly with Clear Channel and the whole thing. All the top people, all of them. all over there at his operation, the former top Fox people, the former top CNN people, all riding the gravy train, sucking hundreds of millions a year out of the Liberty Patriot movement and making sure it goes nowhere. And they said, well, we're going to target effeminate metrosexual conservatives, and we're going to, and that's the whole act is for men that are comfortable with little soft, simpering, I mean, they're targeting men that didn't have fathers or absent fathers. I mean, that's what they're going. And that's what America is now. Everybody goes, look at this crazy guy. He's yelling and screaming. What type of freak is that? Folks, Paul Revere wrote around saying, get your guns, let's kill people. I just say, hey, redcoat, get out of my country. You want my guns, you're a liar. Oh, that's fascism. No. Glenn Beck knows that's what he should do to win. He doesn't want to win. Instead, he purposely, has like 50 bodyguards or 40 bodyguards and goes, around. I mean, it's just pathetic. All right, I've said my piece about Glenn Beck. I'm done talking about it. And there you go. And I know, Glenn, if you're not watching live, you're going to be watching this tonight, sitting around there in your house. And if you'd want to stop being cursed, Glenn, because I can tell you're cursed. I can tell you're not a happy man. Really seek Christ and really seek strength and ask God to make you a man. Not an Arrested Development, little simpering, radio troll manipulator from Zoo Radio. And call up people that you made fun of and attack their families and apologize to them. Man up, admit the New World Order's real, come out against the whole system, and I will support you.
Long trains full of armored vehicles, personnel carriers with armor. What are they for? The Army going into battle against the enemy? They're used by Homeland Security against us.
You can tell Pat Robertson's actually good.
Ronald Reagan said the most fearful statement in the English language is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you.
Oh, boy.
That's enough. You know what happened? They took most of his cable network stuff away and made him stop talking about the New World Order, and he kind of halfway sold out to survive. But you can tell Pat Robertson isn't perfect. But, I mean, he's really concerned. You can see that there. He's freaked out. He knows tyranny. Probably cares about his grandkids. Glenn Beck, you care about your kids? I assure you, when they fully take over, Glenn Beck, you're going to have to run to Switzerland. Come on, join us, man. Don't be a bad guy. Apologize for lying about me. I want to be your friend. We'll be right back. Stay with us. In the last 2 years alone, the U.S. has seen huge losses to our food supply. In 2011, storms and floods raged across the U.S., costing us $20 billion in lost crops alone. In 2012, we saw the largest drought in the country in more than 50 years. You may think out of sight, out of mind, and so you don't think you will be affected. The fact is you are. We all are. We all are. Food shortages drive prices up for everyone. You might not be able to control Mother Nature, but you can control your food prices by freezing the cost and availability of your food supply.